You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Slurpy, slurpy.
Wow, it's Thursday, gentlemen.
It is.
Thank you so much for holding the fort down last week to my man Wayne, my man Rob.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was
Had a
good
time.
2 hours without calls.
Appreciated.
Yeah.
Blew
Solid
through
2
it.
hours. Just flew by. Yeah.
We are the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about...
How we game.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike. And I'm Wayne.
And Thursday nights is all about how you game when we do our live call-in show and take your phone calls to talk about what you've got going on in the gaming world. We open up those phone lines at 9:30. Gives us an opportunity to shoot the poop. Just talk to...
Shoot the poop.
Yep, just smack the gums and just, talk trash and get conversation started while folks get into the chat, get started in the
Chad's
show.
already in there. The boys are back in town. Woo.
Chad Stilson already in the chat, my man.
4 of us on tonight. We doubled our pleasure from last week, so from 2 to 4.
Hey, after dark is after 10. Watch out now.
Double your pleasure.
Yeah.
Double your fun.
Yeah.
I think that boys was spelled a little wrong in that statement.
French?
There.
Is it French?
It's not.
We're not
really
in Thailand, my friend.
BOIS.
I wasn't going to comment. It's before 10 o'clock,
Something like that.
I'm glad I don't know that reference. I can infer. I'm glad I don't know that reference.
It was vid-angeled out.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
all got vid-angeled out.
It's
yeah.
worth all $17 a month. Totally worth it.
Lost that reference.
Well, tonight we are catching up because of last week is the first week of the month. We normally update our boards on the first week of the month, but I had the hockey game for my son's high school. They did the...
Yeah, we showed the picture. It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, did y'all? Awesome.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we showed the picture of it. Yep.
Dude, that arena, it's been years since I've been to that arena, and I regret, Robert invited me out.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I was having a rough day at work and all that. I regretted not going. They've really done a number
I'm
with
trying to
that
get you to come
arena.
to a couple
Oh,
games.
but yeah,
and
with the
took your
Tesla
son being in
coils
the
and
pre-game show to get you out to the games.
Hey, listen, I can't miss that. When he's holding the American flag, leading the
Yeah,
color guard,
that's
they had him
nice.
up on that stage up there
Over
where
by
the
pipe
organist
organ.
is
Yep.
up there.
Yeah, that organ's huge, man.
It
I
is.
think the biggest thing that I noticed in the show, I know this is a board game show. We'll get there eventually. Trust us.
Maybe.
At the show at the Lightning game at the hockey arena
pregame, yeah.
is the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Like all
Yeah.
the projection that they're able to do on the ice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If anyone's ever watched like those dancing shows that they have now, and like the whole dance floor gets painted in patterns and colors, and it's effectively like a giant screen. That's like what the rink looked like, the whole rink.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was awesome. And then the most coolest thing is the
Tesla
the
coils.
Tesla coils.
Shooting lightning out there.
Because my
Now-
son was up there on the stage and it's near the Tesla coils, and he's looking up.
I think now if you've ever, and then there's like the XO Club or like the Lightning Club, which are like those leather seats. They're pricey, but we should all one time go to a Lightning game and sit there, because I've sat in there a few times, because like I get tickets from somebody or somebody. Actually, my kid's soccer coach gave me tickets last year because he works in the radio, and it's like all you can eat, prime rib, sushi, open bar, like. You don't understand the food and beverage behind that.
Club level's
like,
nice.
the club level, yeah, it's the nicest club level I've ever been to.
The food was great. We ate at the Cigar City right before the game. There's a little Cigar City restaurant there. Ordered tons of drinks because they had the Cigar City brews on tap. So I got to introduce my 21-year-old to a lot of the Cigar City catalog there. So that was fun to do. I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah.
So I was glad I went. Thank you all. Thank you, Rob and Nick Oben, for helping me get those tickets.
Yeah,
because they have season passes.
Season tickets. Yeah.
Season tickets.
Couple season tickets.
So they were able to help me get some of those tickets. I brought the whole family with me, so it was a pretty expensive experience, but it's totally worth watching my son do the national anthem, holding the American flag right there on stage.
Good times.
Good
Did
times.
you enjoy the hockey too a little bit?
Oh,
was a heck of a
dude, it
game.
was a great
That
game.
was a crazy
within
game.
within 2 minutes of the first period, they had 2 goals. They had a hat trick,
Yep.
and the game was tied all the way dang near to the end.
Yeah.
Like it was.
It ended
was
up like
a stellar
7-5
game
or something. It was some ridiculous.
Yeah, 7-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, hockey is one of the best sports live, man. It is such a good sport to watch.
That's
live.
what I told my son, because Christian remembers going the last time we went. We went years ago. And he goes, Bobby, last time we went, there was a hat trick too. Both games that we've gone to have been high scoring, hat trick, fun games. And I'm like, man, this was way more fun to watch than baseball.
Yeah.
I love baseball. Baseball's been very, very good to me. I love baseball. But man, watching hockey live was so much more fun.
Yep. Good times.
let's have fun with other hobbies, which include board games. We're going to get into our top 20 list. I am not prepared. I am not prepared, folks.
All right.
Are you surprised? Is anyone surprised? So in the next 24 minutes, we're going to update our list for the top 20 list. I'm going to give you the quick rundown on how that works. Each month, we record the games that we play. At the end of the month, so the first episode of the new month, we're going to go back and talk to you about the games that we played that are going to make it to our top 20 board. Our top 20 board contains, or will soon, hopefully,
Not quite 20
contain
yet.
20 games ranked in order by whatever metric, formula, algorithm we choose of our choosing. Like, it doesn't even have to be in order. Mike has already broken that standard.
Easy.
He's set the precedence that
throw
you can
stuff
just
up
skip
there.
numbers if you choose to.
Just whatever.
But all that matters is by the end of the year, we're going to have played games, and it's going to show the top 20 that we felt in that, and by the end of that year, that we felt are the top 20 plays and or games that we enjoyed for that year. So each month we will update this.
All right. Well, Wayne did his last week, so he's already got his knocked out. I know, Mike, you're working on yours as we speak. See, I could do mine real quick, but mine's not going to take up much time. So
Good. That gives me 2 seconds to write something.
Okay, I'll jump in then. So I played a total of 2 games in the month of February, as Carlos reminded me. I had my eye surgery last month, so it doesn't excuse the whole month because it was only about a week and a half that I was out of the rotation. But anyway, played 2 total games. One of them, really killer, belongs on my board, at least for a little while. And the other, not so much a killer. So the guys were kind of ribbing me here that I should throw it up there anyway because I don't have 20 on my board, and I did play a game. Right now I'm still doing just games that I've played live in person. I'm playing tons of games on BGA, and at some point I may branch out and either just kind of review games that I played on BGA or maybe even put a few on the board if they really merit it. But right now, the 2 that I've got, so actually let me take a quick look at my board just as a reminder from last month. Right now, my number 1 up there for games I've played this year so far is SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, and we may touch on that game again here in a little bit, I have a feeling. Number 2, Purple Haze, Vietnam era. You call it a war game? I guess it's a war game.
It's like a war RPG.
War RPG, yeah, something like that. Number 3, Ultimate Railroads, game that I love playing on online. 4, Maracaibo. 5, Federation. 6, Obsession. 7, Clank Legacy 2. Legacy game up on the board. 8 is Sky Team. 9, Dune Imperium Bloodlines. Draft and Write Records at 10. Wormspan at 11. Nucleum Australia with the Australia expansion at 12. Bunny Kingdom at 13. Harvest at 14. Patterns 15, Frosthaven, another big campaign game at 16, and 17 is Arkham Horror. I pointed out last month that those last 2, they would be at the top of my list. I've been playing Frosthaven since last year. I've been playing Arkham Horror since last year, or maybe even longer. The card game, the LCG. And these 2 I just kind of threw at the bottom because they're big campaigns. I really didn't feel right to rank them because they would be just at the top. I love both my Frosthaven and my Arkham Horror. But anyway, so that's why they're down there. But they're eventually going to fall off just because I don't think it's real fair to put big, grandiose 200-hour campaign games up here. But anyway, to get to the what we're talking about here, first one on my list that I played.
Now we only got 20 minutes left.
Yeah, a big one that I played in the month of February, Boone Lake. So I talked a little bit about this one before, but this is it's a Uwe Rosenberg-esque. I don't think he actually designed it, but it feels, or actually he might have. I say it feels like kind of an Uwe, but it's a tile placement, card engine building. You're building an engine with some cards you're playing out in front of you, allow you to trigger some things. There's some really cool dual layer boards. There's some cool choosing your own scoring. At the end of the game, you're going to kind of choose what you go after and what you score, and you get to set some of the, each person gets to pick one of the parameters that's going to score at the end game for everybody else. And so you're putting some things out there, and then people can score whatever they want to score as they go. Lots of different ways, big point salad to get all kinds of different points. But it's my up my alley here as a kind of a medium weight Euro type game. So there you go. Thanks, Wayne, for pulling that up there.
Alexander Pfister.
That's right. It's Pfister. So yeah, it feels kind of like a Uwe, but it's a Pfister. So there you go. Yeah, it's not that time yet. But anyway, so this is going to go on my board fairly high. I've only played it the one time. I am looking forward to playing again. This is going to kill some people, but I think it's going to go above Nucleum. I did not have a great experience with Nucleum the first time. I am wanting definitely to play Nucleum again. We've got Wormspan. Actually, I think it's going to go above Wormspan. So I'm going to slide all these down because I'm putting 2 up here. So I'm going to slide Arkham down, Frosthaven, Patterns, Harvest. I'm going to slide Bunny Kingdom. Nucleum's going to go down. Wormspan's going to go down. But I'm actually going to leave this between Wormspan and Draft and Write Records. I'm really having a good time, especially online with Draft and Write Records. I think that's a great little flip and write game. Yeah, it's really good. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying that one. So Boon Lake there. It's going to go, let's put it at 11. We're going to put an 11 on my board. Let's see. The other one I have, and I wrote this on a little tiny piece that I cut off of the end of the Boon Lake one I had, just because it's going to be short-lived on my board. And once I slide everything else up, that's going to put Wormspan 12, Nucleum 13, Bunny Kingdom 14, Harvest 15, Pattern 16, Frosthaven 17, 18 is Arkham Horror. I'm going to leave 19 open, and at 20, just so it touches my board, my other play last month I played several times, but this is Trio. So anybody not familiar with Trio, I think we touched on it before also, but it's a memory-based card game. Definitely fun with more people. This is a game you want to have 5, 6, maybe 7 people. I don't remember how many plays to around the table, but a lot of fun. But most of the fun, my memory is horrible anyway, so I don't like memory-based games. But the fun of it is seeing somebody ask somebody else for the same card over and over and over again, and everybody's like, "You just asked that last round." So that's the fun of that, and everybody cracks up, and it's like, "Ah, you idiot, you did that." So I of course did that several times, and but it went around the table. But Trio will touch my list. I'm going to put it on there at 20. It'll be gone soon, so it's okay. But anyway, that's my list. So just the 2 going on. And I just a touch looking forward. March had a big game day. I played a bunch of games at game day in March. So next month, I will definitely fill out this top 20, and several games will be falling off the bottom of the list. So anyway, that's me. Who's next? Who else?
Carlito's up.
Carlos.
Okay, let's see. I think I have an extra little camera.
You've got a
thing.
few more little pieces of tape over there, so you...
Hey, there's little Carlos in the corner.
Oh, in the corner?
You see me in the corner?
I see up there.
Little Carlito.
It's just little Carlito.
You're going to have a much more fun with yours. So
Yeah, I had a good month.
I can help you rearrange if you like. So
I had a really good month in February. Lots of games came in. Lots of games got played. Right now, let me give you my list as it stands. Purple Haze number 1, Ezra Nehemiah number 2, Camel Up number 3, Captain Flip is number 4, Mandalorian Adventures number 5, Flip 7 number 6, Catan Jr. 7, Palm Island 9, and then Castle Combo is 6. I'm going to come down here and bring Glitter Luck. I'm just going to move Glitter Luck all the way down to 20 for now because we'll fit it in that way, and then I'll slide everything up. Trio is coming in just above Castle Combo. Trio is the same game that Rob talked about as the memory playing game.
yeah.
Trio, I had fun with it.
Bottom of your list too, though.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
well, because
Yeah, all right.
it's light. What I loved about it is it's a very small deck.
It is, yeah.
and it's easily pocketable.
Yeah.
We played it at Miller's a few.
Ale House, yeah.
Yep, Ale House a few times. And it didn't take up too much table space, and the kids picked up the rules lickety split.
Yeah, it's simple.
I can't help but recommend this one more as a just that roll right there.
It's a step up from Uno, and it's just a deck of cards. So yeah.
From there, I played, so we'll bring down Palm Island. So Palm Island will come down from there. Catan Jr., then there's Flip 7. That's like the
line.
yeah, this is like the Mason-Dixon line.
Flip
This
7?
is the,
Yep.
it is the parallel, what is it, the 59th parallel.
There you go, yeah.
It's like do not cross the Rubicon. Like that's a tough one to cross.
The DMZ.
So we're going to start with Battle Line. Battle Line's going to make its way above Captain Junior, below Flip 7. Battle Line. This is the
I'm a little
I
surprised by
taught Wayne the Totten version of Rhino Knizia. I had the Battle Line Medieval. This one I enjoyed more than both of them. And this is the GMT,
This
the
new reprint?
Greek version,
Okay.
the old one.
Oh, old. Okay.
The old one. It was so easy to tell what faction the cards were for. It was such basic, ugly GMT art that it's just like looking at a deck of cards. So it was real easy to understand the situation on the board.
When did Ugly make a game better?
When you needed to be able to tell, like, there's
Distinctive.
9 waypoints on the board, and you got to tell which ones am I controlling, because if you can control 5 waypoints, you win the game. However, if you can control 3 waypoints in a row, 3 objectives in a row, you've now broken through and you win the game. So it just gave a little easier understanding of what the situation was. Had a great time with it. Then we've got Flip 7 is still there. Man, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Flip 7.
That is your gauge.
Warfighter Nam. This is my Purple Haze Temu version. Warfighter Nam, I talked about it last episode. It is a solo or cooperative game where you build a group of soldiers fighting in Vietnam. You attack locations. You surprise yourself with what's at each location. There are different events that come up. There are different enemies that come up. You're shooting into the bush, not knowing what's in there. It's shooting back. Come to find out, it was a friendly.
The bush is shooting back.
Yes. Watch out now.
Well, no. It wasn't going that way. But.
So then when it comes to the game, the only issue I had with it is so much upkeep, so many components. I think I showed a small video of it. So many different tokens. You're always manipulating the board. But when you're playing that solo, it's not a big deal. You're by yourself. You got your old fashioned. You're enjoying a nice evening quiet, manipulating pieces, right? I loved it solo. I don't know if I'll ever play it co-op. Coming in below Flip 7 is Finspan. Finspan, thanks to my man Wayne, got me hooked up with a copy of Finspan. Got it played. I got, I think, 1 or 2 plays. I love the simplicity of the setup, the simplicity of the game itself. It ran super smooth. I think I like it more than Wingspan, but more plays are going to be needed. So we'll see how it moves on that board. Coming in above, still Flip 7. I hate you.
Wow.
But you played Flip 7, so you could re-rank it.
I did play Flip 7. But, yeah, because Flip 7, I'm going to bring it up above Mandalorian Adventure.
Okay.
So
Mandalorian's sliding down below the one in
Mandalorian's coming down. Mandalorian Adventure's coming down.
I'm helping you out, Carlos. I'm helping you out.
Thank you. It's a good point because I did play it. Lost Cities is coming in above Mandalorian Adventures.
Below Flip 7?
Below Flip 7. It was only a couple of plays. It was teaching plays. I played it with the new 6-player or the 6 card,
Faction
6 suits.
Yeah.
Right, 6 suits. I played it with that and I really enjoyed it. It made it a little bit more random.
Yeah.
You had a lot less control, but that also led to a lot less hurt feelings, right? Because I wasn't holding as many cards of the opponent, and the opponent wasn't holding as many cards of mine. Does that make sense? If you ever played Lost Cities, the worst feeling is when you finally give up and play the 8, and then come to find out they throw out the 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
You know, they've been holding them the whole time.
Yeah.
So less of that with the extra. But we should do a full beans on that one day. We've never done beans on Lost Cities.
No.
If you do, that'll be the first game that I can actually comment.
There you go. We've all played it. We've all played it.
All right, let's just skip that one. It's been done before.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'm just kidding. We should do it then.
Leave Mike out.
Let's see. Man, this one's Trekking Through History is the next one on my board. And I know I liked it more than Lost Cities this month. I really enjoyed how easy this game was to set up, and it was so chill. Flip 7 has a lot of action and a lot of fun. Captain Flip, I feel, is much more random.
Okay.
Camel Up was super exciting, so I think I would rather play Camel Up, but after that, I think I'd rather play Captain Flip, and then I'd rather and then I'd rather play Flip 7, and then I'm back to Trekking Through History.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
There we go.
Good
That's
one.
how that landed.
I like Trekking. That's a good game.
It was just so.
It's simple.
We played it like 3 times in one night. We just really and it was so chill. Kids were in bed. It was awesome. All right, this one I loved. I really enjoyed. Just for its stupid simplicity, dice chucking Hero Quest. Hero Quest. But I don't think I'd put it above these yet because I'd love. And anytime I play one of these, I want to play it first. I would play Hero Quest right now above that. So that is the end of my list. I think I gave the beans on Hero Quest a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yep.
And your 50 million expansions.
Yep.
Right.
So now we will slide everything up and see where the list ends. And this will be my list for February 2025. So coming in at number 17, Unicorn Glitter Duck. Number 16, Castle Combo. 15, Trio added to the list. Palm Island at 14. 13 is Catan. 12 is Battle Line. Warfighter Nam at 11. Finspan 10. Mandalorian Adventure at 9, Lost Cities 8, Trekking Through History 7, Hero Quest 6, 5 is Flip 7, Captain Flip at 4, Camel Up at 3, Ezra and Nehemiah at 2, and then number 1, Purple Haze.
Nice.
That's my list.
Nice.
2 down.
Mike, did we lose Mike? We lost Mike.
Mine's real easy.
There he is. Oh, real easy. Okay.
Tyrants.
I didn't play any games last month.
Oh, were you
Like
checking? That's what you were
literally
doing?
zero.
To log off
EG
to check.
Stats tells me 0 games last month.
0 games played.
That was a
So-
rough
Tells
month.
you how busy I was.
I didn't beat that
I'm
by
gonna make
much.
up for it this month though. But
My whole 2. Yeah, me too. And you had the con. Actually, I'm going to the con next week. You had the con last weekend. So, yeah.
it's a bad disease, man. Don't get the con.
Ooh, the
Yeah.
con crud. Mm.
Uh,
All right.
I was looking
It seems like this year is like the beginning of February. I had a massive game day, played a ton of games, so my January list was missing a ton, and then my February list I'm full. But then I had a game weekend last weekend too, and played a bunch of games. And it's like, well, so it's always the first that I need to play towards the end of the month.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it then.
That is it. That is all. That's
our-
what she wrote.
That's our top 20s.
I got to
let's go
step
ahead and
away
open
for
up the
1
phone
second. I'll
lines.
be right back.
Okay. Yep.
Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. Let the folks in here at the chat. Beans and Ice podcast about how we game. And on Thursday nights, we take your phone calls to talk to you about how you game. The phone line is going to be open. 813-618-7099 is the number. I'm going to open up that phone line now.
Nice. All right. Call in. Otherwise, we'll chat. If you call in, you take over the show for about 5 minutes. You just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Doesn't necessarily have to be board games. Doesn't have to be anything we're talking about. Just you take over. You tell us what you've been up to, what interesting stuff you've been doing. We talk about movies. We talk about TV shows. We talk about books we've been reading. All that kind of stuff. All the geeky goodness. So.
Yeah, so let's get into the twig. But before we jump into a full twig, I know that one of us has gone to a con. I'd love to hear the experience of how it went. So it doesn't have to be twig specific, as in exactly what you played. It could be things that my buddy Mike here. What are how the con? Like, give us the experience. Walk us through. How was the travel, arrival? What did you do?
This was your second Dice Tower West, right?
Yeah, this is my second one in a row. Yeah,
Okay.
this is it was good. Travel was easy. I mean, for me, it's only like 2.5 hours. Direct flight. Dan got delayed in Texas, so he only came. I mean, he ended up arriving around the same time I did anyway. So we just kind of Ubered over to the hotel. It was held at the Westgate this year instead of the Rio.
That's right. There was a change of venue.
Huge improvement.
Oh, that's what I would assume.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard the rooms were pretty bad at the Rio.
What's that?
I heard the hotel rooms at the Rio were pretty sus.
The whole place is a dump, man.
Yeah.
And we just lost Carlos and sorry. So we'll continue on the show.
Yeah.
The whole place is a dump. They have that weird window that goes in between the bedroom and the shower, and it's just,
I remember that.
Oh, you were saying that. Yeah.
it's really weird. So
Sus.
so this hotel was much cleaner. It didn't really have any construction going on, which was good. And it was funny because like the first I got in Tuesday and kind of was like passing Tom Vassell like in the main hallway, because you can pick up your badge, and then they just had open game, like one room for open gaming. Like if you brought your own games, they didn't have the library open until Wednesday. And just kind of like in passing, I said something like, hey, Tom, thanks for putting on the con. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and thanks for changing the venue too. He said, and he was like, we were under a contract for the other place, so we couldn't leave until we fulfilled the contract. So that kind of explains why they were there for so long, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, Dan and I, we were out there. Dan left Saturday night, but
What's the cost of that con? What was for people who are going? What's the ticket prices range?
I think the 5-day ticket was like $160, something like that.
It's about right.
And they gave you a deal on the hotel rooms.
What were the hotel deals?
I stayed, figure Tuesday through, and I left Monday. So almost a week, almost Tuesday to Tuesday. And the bill was like exactly $1,001.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
It was
bad.
less, and between the two of us, it was $500 for Dan, $500 for me, and for the whole week, so
That's great.
That's
less
good.
than $100 a day, including fees and everything. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And if we would have had somebody else there, Rob, it would have been even cheaper.
Remember that one time we had, I think it was like 6 of us crammed in there?
That was your room, man. You guys are
Yeah.
running around in your underwear and crap. I don't.
Dan was
Tumbling
in there.
dice, brother.
Yeah, Dan was in
Tumbling
there,
dice.
and who else was in there? That
I'll
was,
just take my own room. Thank you.
I slept between the bed and the wall.
I'll pay $1,000 for my own room.
There was like a
little crack.
a 1.5 foot zone between the bed and the wall. I threw pillows down and just slept right
You
there.
slid in there.
You guys were like duct taping yourselves to the wall so you could sleep standing up. And
Pretty
stuff.
much. Yeah, Dan,
Man, I think we paid like $50 each for the whole week.
Dan was sleeping in
That's
front of the
great.
main in the front door. He had his little little cot set up in front of the door. Yeah, it was nice.
So my friend Ashwin was there. Speaking of which, man, his game. He's been developing that chicken fried dice game. He like did a total overhaul almost from when I saw it last at OrcaCon last year. And when I saw it, I was like, man, this game looks totally different. Like I don't remember seeing any of this. He's like, I haven't spoken to you, or I haven't shown you this game in over a year. And he said he got a lot of feedback from PAX. And yeah, like, I mean, he's got legitimate, box art and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was telling me, I mean, not to get into the main gist of it, but he was saying that he had big publishers telling him, like, if you play your cards right on this, no pun intended, like this could potentially be like $1 million game. Like you can branch off of this IP and kind of create all kinds of other games from this. And so he's been busting his butt, man. That guy doesn't sleep at all. I don't understand how he's not dead. My glasses here are all screwed up. So anyway, he was demoing this there, and he was showing a bunch of. We played a few other prototypes that he had going on. One was like a drawing one, and I'm trying to remember the other one. But anyway, he was there. I met I had met a guy on Discord from another channel that I had never seen in person before. And he's like, yeah, I'm going. Why don't we meet up? And you know how it is. Like sometimes you're like, I don't know if I want to meet, who knows what this person's going to be like. And him and his wife and his friend were there, and they're like super nice. We ended up getting a game of Project Elite in together. We played Revive. And I taught them Tyrants of the Underdark. They were looking to buy it before we even finished the game, of course.
Everyone does.
Well done.
Everyone pretty much does, yeah. And then I met, like, through Ashwin, that people that he met while he was there, like 4 to 5 other people. And everybody was super nice. We all exchanged numbers. And yeah, so we're like all planning on meeting next year again. So, nice. I mean, all in all, it was a really good experience. I only played one game at the hot tables, which was Moon Colony Bloodbath, which is kind of supposed to be like a tongue-in-cheek 60s deck builder, but everybody is feeding from the same deck, and like resource management. But it's like the gist of the game is, the moon is being colonized. Figure like retro modern. Or I forget what the word is, but kind of like old school, modern, silver spaceship type, artwork and stuff. And the gist is like everything that can go wrong is going wrong. Like the robots that they're implementing, they're killing people, and it was just, I didn't care for the game personally. I think part of it might have been the way that it was taught, because we were the last people to play the game literally. That day, because they were wrapping everything up for the whole con, so we were kind of rushed. But I mean, it was about an hour, so at least it wasn't long, and that was at full player count. So willing to give it another try if if the chance ever comes up, but definitely not something I feel the need to own. But anyway, we got a lot of good games in. Dan and I played a lot of 2-player games. I learned Lost Cities, something I've never played before. We played Beer and Bread.
Oh, so you weren't kidding. It was new to you.
Yeah. I taught Dan Pagan. We played a few games of that. He taught me Sky Team.
Oh yeah.
Almost got a dime on that alone at the con.
I remember I played Dan's first game of it. He and I played on BGA. And the last message he sent before closing the chat down was, "Oh, I got to play more of this. This is good." Or something along those lines. Like, I knew, and at that moment, I knew he was hooked. And I'm like, "All right, brother, I'll let you go." And he went off and played with a bunch of other people.
Yeah, well, you know how he is with buying games nowadays. He was saying to me, if that expansion is here for this game, I'm just buying it because I know I'm going to play it. And I'm like, cool, man. Let's but they didn't have it.
Didn't have it there. What'd you think of Beer and Bread? Was that the first time you played that?
That was the first time I played. Yeah, I thought it was good. It's a quick game. Like it goes very fast.
I borrowed it. I haven't ever played it, but Sam had it at the game day. She heard that I was interested in trying it, so she brought it and loaned it to me. So I got to play that here probably the next couple days. So
yeah, pretty easy to pick up. I mean, we learned it and played our first game probably, I don't know, probably in 45 minutes.
Okay, I already read through the rules. Yeah, it seems pretty.
Yeah,
light.
we screwed one rule up that kind of really screwed a lot of the game up. We just reset and we started over again. But
what was it? I got to know what to look out for.
It was on so like every other year or harvesting phase.
Right. Yep.
You have like the dry season, right? And then the dry season, you're supposed to put the 3 cards at the end of the board. We never did that. So we're keeping all our cards, and we're like, how the hell are we going to play these cards? Like we got
too many cards.
Yeah, Dan was like, oh man, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to put the cards at the top to swap them in and out, because you can swap with the cards.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we're like, crap, let's just reset it, And
yeah,
it's pretty smooth. And even after that, like we played maybe 1 or 2 games, we put it back, and then maybe a couple of days later, we ended up checking it out again, and we didn't even need to reference the rules. It was so straightforward. So that was a good one.
Not bad. Two player only game too. That's
right.
Cool.
Yep. 2 player only.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think the only game that we wanted to play that we really didn't get in was Lawyer Up. I wanted to get that one in.
Yeah, that's a good
But
one.
we played Unsettled.
Right up there.
Right up there somewhere.
Yep, with the expansion.
Rock Manor
all the way to the
games.
roof. And up
I didn't
there
like the new artwork on it. Is that
I didn't care for it. I wish they would have stayed with the old art for the big box. But yeah, it was a great con. I played a lot of games, learned a few new ones, and the big one for me, it was I think it was the last night of the last day. They closed down the main hall, and they had a smaller room open till whenever you wanted to, like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I was actually walking by a table with 2 of the guys that I met there, and we were going to play Video Game Champion. And he had just gotten it, and we were going to sit down and learn it. And I walked past the table where they were setting up Thunderstone Quest. And I was like, oh, sweet. Thunderstone Quest. I was like, are you guys learning it? And she was like, no, I know how to play it. Do you want to play? And I was like, oh man. I mean, you could see it like right over my shoulder right here. I've got the whole thing, And I'm like, oh man, I've really been wanting to learn to play that game. So I was like, I appreciate the offer. And I go to sit down, and we're punching Video Game Champion, and in the back of my head, I'm just thinking, you better go play that game. You better go play Thunderstone, because now if you can play it, you'll get it off your shelf of shame, and you can really dig into it. So I was like, guys, do you mind if I'm really sorry. I've been wanting to play this game, and I gave them the whole spiel, and they're like, go, man. This is what it's all about. Go learn and I went over there, and the girl that taught it, she was, decent teacher. There's a few things that I think she either forgot or just didn't get right. And then I was cheating half of the game by accident. While you're getting your hits, the more hits you get, the less cards you're drawing. It's a deck builder, like a RPG type deck builder. And, as soon as you get 2 hits, you're only drawing 5 instead of 6 cards. And then you rapidly drop down. Well, I'm dealing full hands to myself after getting all these hits. So I'm like burning through this dungeon, and she's like, Jesus, how many hit points do they have over there? Why are you dealing your... And I was like, oh, I'm like down to 1 hit point. She's like, have you been dealing your whole hand this whole time? And I was like, oops, because it's really not a co-op game. You're still fighting for points. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's no big deal. It's your first time. I said, and I had like a whole stack of like victory points. I was like, and I just grabbed a handful of them and I put them back in the thing. And I was like
Salt
we're just going to call this even. So
that's another one.
Needless to say, what was that?
I was just saying, I thought you were finishing up there, but I was saying I picked it up at the Dice Tower Retreat last year in the game
awesome.
swap, and I haven't played it. It's I've got the base game and one of the expansions, but so I'm interested to hear what your final verdict is. How'd you like it?
Oh, I liked it. I mean,
Yeah?
I think the setup is probably more of maybe the daunting part of it, but it
Okay.
plays just like a regular deck builder, except for a few things that you have to keep in your mind. Like when you go to the village, if you have this one card, you can buy and then go back to the dungeon, but you can only stay in the woodlands. And I know I'm saying a lot, but it's very simple. Like this is your purchase price. This is how much damage your heroes do when you are in the dungeon and you're fighting something. Other than a few rogue rules, it looks daunting when it's on the table, but it really isn't that big of a thing to learn. So
Okay.
I liked it. I'm looking forward to getting my box opened and cards out of the shrink. It's already been opened, but cards out of the shrink and actually play it, because now it's that easy. Like you really don't need rules for the initial setup and stuff.
And Dan had already left when you played that, because I know Dan's played it. He volunteered once to teach it, and we just never got around to it. But
yeah, he left Saturday night, and it was Sunday night that we were all doing like the last minute stuff gaming.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing that one too. So another one on the list. Yeah.
And other than that, I would say like the other big hit for me that I was a surprise was ITO. ITO.
I want to play that.
Yeah.
The word game.
Yeah. That's part of the Dice Tower Essentials now or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
Or
It's in their lineup.
Arcane Wonders brought it over.
It's Arcane Wonders. Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about a party game, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very much a party game. My first introduction to it, I kind of walked over to where my friend Ashwin was, and that whole table was playing. It was like, and they're already like everybody had already had their cards down, and they were discussing like and rearranging things. And the topic was name. It was what's an imaginary character you would want to date. And the range was not at all to, oh my god, of course I'm going to date this person. And the card that was dealt to me, it was 97. And I was like,
oh wow,
what the hell am I going to even say that would
the higher number is the more likely, right?
97.
Least likely. Those least likely.
So 0 or 1 through 100.
Right. Yeah.
So, and everybody's got their cards down, and the one at the very end was Wonder Woman, and it was like, okay, well, like, how the hell am I going to make my argument here? So I'm standing there thinking, and they're discussing. Then they finally look over and like, all right, Mike, what are you going to say? And I was like, Jessica Rabbit. And I stuck it all the way at the end. And the guy was like, no, man, I think Wonder Woman's going to be, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah. Cause I'm thinking in my head, I've got 97 here. He's only got, and, when we revealed them all, the guy ended up with 90. I think he had 99 in his hand. So he definitely called it right by moving his to the very end.
Yeah. It's a good game. I have the black box one from Japan, but
cool.
Yeah, so it's got 2 decks in it.
Box is a little bigger.
Yeah, a little bit bigger. Because it's got two decks.
Nobody catches that.
I got it. The weird thing though is the rules are all in Japanese, right? So you have to like translate it, and like it's got like your statements of like like you said, like which would you date or whatever. So they're all like kind of a little different because it's like meant for Japanese audience. But
there it is. Yeah.
I'm looking for the. I'll get the American rules and download and print off the sheet in English to make it easier. But it's a fun game. Yeah.
Oh, see, and they're using cubes, which I think is smarter because in the American version they have colored cards.
Yeah, they have.
You kind of like slide under the number to show who you are.
If the cards aren't sleeved or if the table is flat like that, that would be annoying. I can feel like the fingernails like tearing up the edges of the cards as you try to lift them around.
Yeah.
The
other one was the one that we that I was dealt 100 on. It was it said something like, think like a villain. Where would your secret lair be placed? And like 0 would be like the most obvious place to
Volcano.
The most well hidden place. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I got to think of something that nobody's going to want to fight me on, because I've got 100, and the easiest one, people were like, the Starbucks coffee table in the middle of the shop, and you've got all your plans out, and in crayon, you've got papers that say, secret liar, like it's spelled wrong. One guy said like the middle of Times Square, and then it got like all the way down to my end, and the guy before me was saying under a buoy in the middle of the ocean. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I mean, that's pretty good. So I ended up saying wherever Jimmy Hoffa is what I put mine.
Oh, wow.
And everybody at the table was like, oh, yeah, nobody's finding that one. I don't think
You win.
so. Nobody argued with me on that one. So, yeah,
I
but it
gotta
was
get this one
fun.
played.
I think it would be one of those games that you could probably start a night out with. I think any more than like 3 or 4 rounds in a single sitting it starts losing its polish. And it's more of a conversation generator in my opinion. You're really not, if you win, great. If you don't, who cares? It's more of the conversation that it drudges up. So
Sure.
You could argue it's an activity, not a game.
Yeah, you could argue that. It's
it's still a game, but yeah, it's
it's very similar to Wavelength or Top 10, I think is what Sam mentioned that in the chat.
Yeah.
Or somebody that we were playing with mentioned it. They're like, this is a total ripoff of Top 10, where it's basically the same thing, but it's only 1 through 10 instead of 1 through 100. But I think the 1 through 100 would work better. I've never even heard of the other game, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to try it. Dice Tower keeps talking it up, but I know it's part of the Essentials line, so I always wonder how much they're pushing it just because it's in the Essentials line. But they said like on the Dice Tower cruise, it was taken off and everybody wanted to play it. And I've heard it could be a good icebreaker. So if you're playing with people
Very
you
much.
don't know, you pull this out and play with it, and you can kind of get a feel for where people are. So
or it's the end of the night, or early in the morning, we're all just hanging out and waiting for people to show up before you break off into games. You bust this out, and it kind of just gets the blood flowing, type.
100%. Yeah.
Going, but yeah.
Cool.
Well, I own a copy of it. Or though, really, honestly, you can just you can use a deck of cards almost and just lay
Almost.
Two
You
decks of
just
cards
come up
and
with your own topics. Yeah.
So,
But they were selling it at the show. It was, if you paid cash, it was like an even $15. So I was like, yeah.
Oh, really? That was it?
For $15, yeah.
All day.
What's going on with your camera?
Are
over
we
there,
flickering
man?
ever? Yeah, anybody see that? Yeah, we're flickering pretty bad. Yeah. So check all the connections.
Yes, but the other games that I purchased, I bought the Kickstarter. Oh, we got a call.
Got a caller?
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
This is Ron from Atlanta.
Hey, Ron
Hello,
Fraser.
Ron
Yo.
Fraser.
How's it going,
What's going
guys?
on, brother?
Things are swell. What do you got for us today?
Found it interesting about Mike's experience with Dice Tower West. I got to get out there one of these years.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. But Carlos asked in the chat, what games have you been playing this week?
Yes.
And this week, I talked to the adult volunteers in my venture crew, which I volunteer for, King of Tokyo,
Nice.
That's a good one.
right? And
Uh-oh.
we lost Carlos, which means we lost Ron. So
Technical difficulties here, folks. If you're even listening to us, who knows? I'm watching the YouTube stream. I'm curious. Oh yeah, we're on the YouTube stream still.
Because
Everybody else is gone.
I'm logged in as an account member as well, so it'll stay live because I'm here.
Oh, okay,
but,
perfect, man.
Like we should do like a little like vaudeville thing, like do 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 do, like because we don't know. Like, Ron was talking about King of Tokyo, so we'll hold on to that, and hopefully that comes back. And but yeah, so
What have
you
been
bought a
playing?
copy of Vito,
Oh,
right?
go. Yeah. I bought a copy of it.
Yeah. Talk about what I've been playing. I've been playing the campaign for Lost Ruins of Arnak, and
how's that going?
it's fun. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's either solo or co-op.
Mhm.
So it's been fun. I started doing it solo. It's fun because I love Arnak, and it just gives you one more thing to
And
play.
we're back in. We're back
Right.
in, right, gentlemen?
Hey, we're back.
Go back to that.
We made it back.
We
All right,
keep
we're back.
going.
Ron,
Ron's
talking
on the
about
line, though.
King of Tokyo.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
Okay.
And we're back.
It's, the exuberance that the people had playing the game just reminded me why this game is an evergreen.
Oh yeah.
And this
Yeah, it is.
And this is why I called in tonight. If you were to look out into the future 5 years from now, what games do you think that are popular today are on that trajectory?
Like a new game or one
newer
that's
games, right?
within the past 5 years?
Game. Yeah. Let's say within the past 2 years.
Well, I think Flip 7 is going to be an evergreen.
Oh, you cheater. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Hey, I spoke first. I get it.
I'm gonna let my list up here and see, but yeah, that's a tough question.
In the past 2 years.
I'm going to go with Heat, Pedal to the Metal, and for these reasons, while Rob thinks, the reasons I choose Heat, Pedal to the Metal is because of Days of Wonder, number one. Days of Wonder has a history of creating evergreen games. Memoir 44, Ticket to Ride. They make games that people want to play years later, even after they've stopped publishing it. A la, what's the Shadows over Camelot,
Oh sure.
right? Think about these games that Days of Wonder, I think they only put out one game a year, right?
Usually, yeah.
I think Heat, Pedal to the Metal will be a game that is still talked about and played in 5 years.
Okay.
Sky Team. I was just looking at the list. Sky Team, I think, is one that's going to stick around for a long time. I don't know if that's cheating because it's a 2-player game. I don't know. Does that put it in a different category? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think that's good.
Okay. I would say Sky Team, I think, is one that's going to hold on. They can crank out expansions for that. It's fairly simple to learn and play. It's small enough, small box. You can take it around. I think that one's going to be a 2-player game that we're going to see for a long time.
I'm looking up games because I can't even. I'm trying to think of games that were even out in 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, right? Because, tonight, I taught and played King of Tokyo. Across the way at another table, there were two guys playing Axis and Allies. Talk about different games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And yet both of those are evergreen, right? Axis and Allies is far older than King of Tokyo.
And I don't want to say it's having a resuberance, a renewal, renaissance, but Axis and Allies, I guess the YouTube algorithm has been finding me. It's been sending me Axis and Allies World Championships videos from this year. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people playing Axis and 8-hour games of Axis and Allies in a tournament style. And then Renegade. Is it Renegade or Restoration? It's one of the R's. Pick one of the R's. Renegade or Restoration. They redid Axis and Allies or republished it, and now they have a full line of accessories too.
Renegade.
So Renegade,
Yep.
they did poker chips and dice, custom dice for each nation, and it is just going bananas all over again. So you're right, Ron. You recognize that. Axis and Allies. That right there is an evergreen.
They just came out with a new A&A game. They came out with is it Battle of the Bulge? Just got released.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I would like to play that. I've never played an A&A game, an Axis and Allies game.
We got to do D-Day sometime.
Gosh, man, I need to play it.
Yeah, I've
All right,
played it.
so for the past 2 years, these are the top ranked games in the past 2 years. Not
Mike
only
list.
ones that were published in the past 2 years.
Okay.
Number one is Dune Imperium Uprising.
I was going to say that, but I felt
Poland,
like cheating a little bit. Yeah.
Sky Team, Hegemony,
There you go.
Rob wins.
Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle Earth,
Oh, man, I like that game.
Age of Innovation, Slay the Spire, The White Castle,
I
Darwin's
like
Journey,
White Castle. But I don't
and
think White
Harmonies.
Castle counts.
Those are the big. Oh, and Ticket to Ride Legacy, which is kind of surprising.
So a bunch of those, and I was gonna say White Castle, but I don't think it's gonna be evergreen.
I don't
No.
think it will either.
No.
Yeah.
I think White Castle
yeah.
is flavored. It's flavorless almost. Ron, you said?
Ticket to Ride Legacy, that's not going to be an evergreen. Ticket to Ride obviously is an evergreen, but that Legacy is,
I have
going
a
through all
feeling
these
we'll
names,
find
I
Ticket
don't-
to Ride Legacy next to Seafall at TJ Maxx. Like I have a feeling like I'll eventually get there.
Yeah. No, I think if the first few you mentioned there, though, you mentioned Sky Team, you mentioned Dune Imperium, the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth. Right? Those are kind of, I think those 2 or 3 will be up there as far as evergreen.
I don't know, man. Like, can you really say that these are going to have the staying power and the same breadth as like King of Tokyo or, that's a tough.
I think
don't know.
I think Rob Nebb, Sky Team is going to be one that's going to be around for a while.
I think that probably has the best possibility.
As much as I'd like to agree with you, and I think Ron Fraser also agrees with me that the Middle Earth one is one that could be there, right? Right. But I feel that the Lord of the Rings themed games is so flooded in the market that it's. And I'm going to talk about one when I get to my twig, because you could swing your arms around and hit 10 different Lord of the Rings games.
True.
Yeah. I hear it. Now, I mean, speaking of Lord of the Rings games, I mean, War of the Ring obviously is an evergreen, but it's really interesting because, like, I'm as I think about this more, Axis and Allies, King of Tokyo, Monopoly, they're all evergreen games, but their audience, right?
True.
I mean,
well,
Monopoly's been around forever, right? And everybody has a copy, but no one plays it right. King of Tokyo, has mass market appeal.
Yeah.
Axis and Allies has been around forever, but it's like it's a niche market. Same thing with War of the Ring. So even in being evergreen, you still have like levels to that.
True.
I can't find a great term for that, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Ron. Is you have some evergreens like, say, a Wingspan or a Catan or Ticket to Ride, where they're printing 10,000, 20,000, 30, 40, 50,000 copies a year of those, and those are just Terraforming Mars, right? Those are the evergreens that are in print, big print runs. Then there's an evergreen where, like, I remember like Survive, Escape from Atlantis, like Bonacore a couple years said that's an evergreen for them, but they'll print 2,000 copies or 3,000. They'll do a short print run, and then they have it in stock at all time as an evergreen, but it's not like a giant stockpile of it. So, like, I think there's like what you say, there's different levels as far as maybe the print run size of an evergreen, right? You have an evergreen that you're running a 50,000 print run. You have an evergreen that you're running a 2,000 print run.
Yeah. And I think it's great that even for these smaller print run games, the fact that that they're viable, that they can continue to run, do those print runs is really commendable. So, like, there's a whole lot to that, right?
Yeah. Continuously in print versus not.
Yeah, there's some games that were intended to be mass market games that crashed and burned.
Very true.
Sure.
But if you go a few years further back, like two right off the top of my head, like Azul, I think that's going to be an evergreen type of game, and Wingspan. I mean,
it's
just available everywhere. And like you said, Wayne, I think when you're doing those huge print runs, there are different levels of evergreens, but not only does it need to be in front of somebody's face in any store, it needs to be a good game, and whether or not you care for Wingspan, for some reason, I don't know what it is about that game. I think it's a good game, but man, I did not think it would catch on like it did, where they're like doing spin-offs of it, and same thing with
its own universe.
Oh, yeah. It really does.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Wingspan for a moment here. It's lightning in a bottle, right? Like it's light enough to have a mass appeal for your hobbyist gamer, for that prefer lighter games, it's light enough for people that never played board games to get into, because it has, and they're willing to play it because it has an accessible theme, not trading in the Mediterranean or or
Right.
Civil War. And of course, there, I don't know how many stories I heard of people that bird watchers that picked the game up because, oh look, this is a game about birds. It's something that they knew really well, and now they're board gamers. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, Wingspan is a special animal when it comes to that.
Absolutely.
I think Elizabeth Hargrave was hoping that Mariposas would do something similar, but
Nope.
I have expressed my thoughts on Mariposas.
I remember that phone call.
Yeah.
I know you were excited to get that one played too, because you had talked about it before you even had a chance to play it.
Yeah, yes, I was.
You was.
It was
Past tense.
It was one of my most disappointing experiences as a hobby board gamer. Not because the game sucked, right? Like, it was just, anyway.
It didn't have the light. It didn't catch the lightning in the bottle.
Right. Exactly. But
Have you had the chance to play FinSpan? Talking about the Span universe, the SCU, the Span cinematic universe.
Jeez.
I haven't even played Wormspan yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought as a D&D guy, you would get that one to the table.
I am very excited about the theme, but I haven't even bought it. Like, I want to play it first.
Somebody else's.
I have the I have Wingspan. I have a couple of expansions, and I don't get to play that enough. So I'm like, I'm not going to spend money on Wormspan unless I know I'm going to play it.
Sure.
And then Span on top of that, like, I'm good.
I'd say skip the worm and go to the fin, but I'll talk more about that later.
All right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, yeah.
I want to give that one the
but,
beans soon, too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but guys, that's the level of game that I'm primarily interested in these days. So, like, it is something that's on my radar. Yeah, I gotta find time to play stuff with. I am now. Like, it's happening.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Good.
Playing board games again. But yeah. Anyway, I just had a quick thought about the concept of evergreen games. Thought it'd be something interesting to talk about.
Yeah, good topic.
Absolutely.
You're always welcome on the Beans and Dice Show. You're
Of course, Ron.
my Atlanta black-eyed pea. I can say that? Can I?
I don't know. It's up to Ron.
Say whatever you want,
We'll
man.
let the internet decide.
We'll let the internet decide.
Rob is my white butterbean here.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Butterbean.
You're trying to go with bean references. I get it. Okay.
You see what
But here's-
legumes.
Like black eyed. Okay, so black eyed peas aren't even black. It's
All right.
black eye thing. Like, I'm more of a dark kidney bean.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. A dark kidney bean. Yeah.
Which, I love dark kidney beans because I'm from New Orleans, and
Yeah.
Okay,
Amen.
I forget that you are.
Yeah.
Although we consider Mitchell to be
Our
Louisiana red bean, you are originally from Nolans.
yes, I'm more of a Louisiana red bean than Mitchell is.
I don't disagree.
Fighting words there. Mitchell's gonna pop in now. He's gonna call in.
Maybe.
Listen,
Yeah, right. That'll get Mitchell to call.
Yeah, got to do what it
Yeah,
takes.
well.
Get him on the show. Get him on the show.
we'll see if his ears are burning right now. Thank you, Ron Fraser. Much appreciated. Drive safe out there.
Good to hear from you as always.
All right.
Thanks, Ron.
Take
Good
it
night.
easy, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
That's my man, Ron Fraser. Phone lines are open, 813-618-7099. We are talking top 20 updates earlier in the show. We are now going into the Twig, This Week in Gaming. Mike has been updating us on his trip to Dice Tower West.
Las Vegas. We ever mentioned that it was Las Vegas, right? I don't think
Correct.
we
We
actually
did
said
not
that.
say
Yeah,
it exactly.
it
It
is.
is Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas for
Yep.
anybody who doesn't know. Yeah.
You walked us
Of
through Arrival of the Con, playing games, and you just highlighted just a little bit on the idea of buying games because I remember you mentioned Dan looking for the expansion for Sky Team. Twig is also about what you've bought. So walk us through the exhibition halls, the shopping there. Did you do any? What did you see? Your experience?
Yeah, they had a few, probably more vendors than I remember seeing last year. They had like a typical store type of vendor where they were just kind of selling all games, and they had books on the table, and they had like crafts and stuff like that. They had one guy that was doing like laser wood, all kinds of things made out of wood, like things that look like books that you would put on the shelf for like D&D stuff, storage bins, that type of thing. And then they had publishers. So they had the people that did Pagan, and I'm trying to remember what other games that they did, but they were there. Was it Arcane Wonders? I don't know. Arcane Wonders was
they tend
there.
to be there.
Yeah.
All Play, of course, was there. They were selling everything that they had. The person that made Slay the Spire, he was selling copies of that. I didn't realize how big that freaking box is. It's like bigger than the Thunderstone Quest box, like tall wise. Yeah, and just stuff like that. They had like a TCG section that was kind of like off to the side. They had a huge like demo hall set up where you could try out all kinds of games. I don't know if they were necessarily selling them there. They had a whole trick-taking section.
Oh, you were in your element.
Yeah. And then they had like the hot game section, and like I said, there was probably I really wanted to play Ostia, but that one was, they had 2 copies of that set up, and it was just, there was somebody sitting there 24/7 the entire time. So anyway, yeah. So, and as far as like picking up games, it was really through Virtual Flea Market. Not that I went to it, but man, the morning of that, the freaking line was down and around the corner and around the other corner. And
Open up your shopping bag. What was in it?
Well, I got Bebop, which is a title that was just delivered not that long ago. Pretty unknown title that you're a trying to think of the word, but like you're selling tickets, you're selling reserved seating at like a jazz festival. So it's area majority. There's dice chucking in it. It's matching of like symbols, and you can like cut people off. And it was, if you look at the board, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it was like the Kickstarter edition that if there was one thing I had to say about it, is like the scoring is a little wonky. But once you get the hang of it, it makes more sense. It's just, if you had to explain this every single time to somebody, Bebop, it's just all one word. It's got like a blue, colorful.
You see us looking?
Yeah, I can tell that you. I look at your face, you're like, I'm not
furiously typing, trying to find this thing. I'm like, beep, boop. No, that ain't it.
That's the game, Bebop. So there's multiple maps. Some are tighter maps that promote more cutting off, and there's more open maps. But anyway, it came with like all the upgraded bits and everything like that. So that was one game I got, and then the other one that I ended up picking up was
Let me stop on the Bebop thing. If I saw this on the table, I would never have thought for any moment of time that this is a game having to do with jazz music. Like from a distance, I'd be like, oh, what kind of war game is that? Oh, what kind of area control game is that? Like seeing the picture of this just like makes no sense with theme.
Well, yeah, I mean, once it's explained to you, it's like, because there's, it's like a jazz festival, so there's multiple stages set up, and you're basically trying to reserve, like, people have interest in certain instruments, which are the dice, and then the little hexagonal shapes, like everybody has their own color of those, and as you're placing them out on the board, it's acting as if you're reserving those seats, and you have like secret dice, and then there's a pool of dice that you can feed off of as well. But it's you're trying to get the people that enjoy specific instruments or families of color next to like the stages that are having those instruments being performed. And then once you score for those main discs will come off the table. And then there's like VIP seating where you can like get backstage passes for people, which you can only put on stages once they've been scored. You know, it's interesting.
Awesome. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm glad I got it because I even though it was only Dan and I that played it, I think it would play really well with more. It plays up to 4, so I think it would play well with a higher player count because more of the board is exposed, and you almost have like an open, kind of like a field day for the entire board where. 2 people could be going at it in one section, fighting for this one section score for that stage, and you're over here like kind of silently, taking over, the whole corner of one map. But it was interesting. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. It's definitely one I'm happy I picked up. And then the other game that I really got was a newer looking copy of Ponzi Scheme that was actually like new, unlike the other one that I bought off of somebody on Facebook. So I ended up picking that game up. I wish we would have gotten that one played, but we did not.
Second copy of a game. Should we call you Carlos or second
Well,
copy, third copy?
Unlike Carlos, I'm looking to get rid of the original copy that I have.
That's
so
okay. Yeah.
There's no reason to have 2.
You're safe.
Yeah. So I think those were the only 2 games that I picked up. That and Ito.
Ito, I was gonna say I saw that something else in the picture. That was Ito. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So those are. I wasn't planning on. I went with 2 suitcases with the intention of possibly picking up more games, and I just very content. With.
I wonder what that says about the con, right, and its exhibitors, or what that says about what's coming out right now on board gaming.
I think it says more about me and the
Yeah,
fact
so
that
probably
I'm
just
slowing down on what
Mike's
I'm buying
attitude and his perspective coming in. Yeah.
yeah, literally. I mean, maybe room is a thing of it, but I'm like finally realizing like even if I never bought another game for the rest of my life, it'd still take me years to get through what I have because of just the time. I just don't have time to do
campaigns
it.
and stuff.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I've got other games.
I'm good when I die if I leave a lot of this in shrink.
I mean, that's cool.
That's
Man,
cool.
whatever makes you happy.
Just adding more microplastics to my kids' environment.
Right, there you go. And then over my shoulder here, you can see I came home and my deluxe edition of Ready, Set, Bet was.
I saw someone else post it online.
I think it was Nick might have posted a picture of it.
I was wondering if you got yours. And then the next wonder I have is, will I regret not having jumped in? That'll be like the next thing. Because I already had bought the neoprene mat. I had already bought a separate neoprene mat for.
How often do you play the game?
Holidays.
Yeah, I don't think you're. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a really nice copy.
If I'm going to play a weekend horse racing game, it'll be Camel Up now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
I suspect I'm gonna say no less than 10 copies of Ready Set Bet are for sale at the Dice Tower East virtual auction this year.
Virtual flea market.
That's virtual flea market.
Are you talking about like the regular version?
Yeah, because you have a regular version, right, Mike?
Well, I sold it already.
There you go.
I sold it a couple of months ago, and because I knew this one was going to be delivering soon. So
there you go. So yeah, I think a bunch of people will be looking to get rid of their base copy. So
just to kind of give you an idea,
for scale,
this was the box that it came in.
It's a big box, man.
It's a long box. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, like I walked in my office.
Behind
I'm like,
Mike. It's a weird shape for a board game. It is a weird shape for a board game. I don't see board games in this shape. It looks like it's probably 8 to 10 inches tall, and then like 2 feet long.
Yeah, it's like an old school Monopoly box. Like,
but it's got a handle on the top at least.
Oh, does it?
Really nice.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Ready to
and
travel.
it holds both of the mats inside, and
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
It's really nice, man. Like the horses have a good size to them, and they all have names on them now, which is really funny. And they're named like perfect. Like the 2-3 horse is called 2-3 Skidoo, and
Nice.
just very funny names that that they work really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
That's a great twig, man. That was an awesome twig. Thank you so much. This Week in Gaming, that's our twig acronym there.
That's the twig. Yeah.
That's Mike's twig. Let's don't forget phone lines are still open. 813-618-7000.
Thanks, man. My twig and berries. Is that what it was?
That was Mike's twig.
813-618-7099 is the number. Make sure you call in, folks. And you can call in whenever you listen to this. I know I've been a little backed up with work, and so I haven't uploaded podcasts, but those of you that do listen to the podcast, I repeat that number all the time. You can call in anytime and just leave a voicemail. Leave a voicemail.
I've got one other thing to
Send
talk
an
about
email. beansanddice@gmail.com. Just communicate with us. Let us know what you got gaming. Back to Mike.
So I was hitting the slots, every night, or for the first 3 or 4 nights, I should say. And I was coming out ahead like the first 2 nights, like
pause.
stupid.
Like line it up first, right? You're a slot machine. So you had a board game convention.
I know.
How hard was it to get to like casino?
5 steps.
Oh, you walked right through it every time that you went from the rooms to the.
They've got casinos and slots everywhere.
So
At
here's
the
Mike.
airport when you
He's
land.
leaving the nerd convention, right? Got his board games in hand and passing slot machines. You pop in.
Yeah, I always play the Wheel of Fortune machine.
There you go.
With the 3 pointers for the payout. So, my limit is like $200 a night. If I sit down and I lose the 200, I'm done for that night. Like I don't even care at that point. Well, the first night, like I'll just say I more than doubled my money. The second night, I more than quadrupled my money. And then like the third night,
Wow,
I'm just
back for
sitting
3,
there.
bro. Like at that point, night 2, I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Well, I was even saying like, I'm not even going to play anymore. Like the first time I cashed out and I walked over to Dan, who was sitting at the Keno machine. And, I was like, how much longer you got on this? He's like, I don't know. I'm just like wasting time. It's like 10 cents a number is what he's playing on Keno. And that's his game. So I was like, all right, I'll be right back. And I went back, like after cashing out, like within minutes, I walked back to the Wheel of Fortune machine. I put the 200 in. 3 spins later, I like triple my money again. And I was like, screw this. I'm cashing out. Like I'm done,
Yeah.
And I'm even like, texting my wife saying, okay, we got the my retirement fund going here. We're all doing good.
I do. Oh, good. Sorry. Finish.
I was just gonna say, so the final night I go and I'm like, all right, this is my last time playing, and I'm up like, I put my 200 in, and I'm like up to 1,200 at this point, and then I start losing it. Like I'm down 100, I'm up 50, I'm down 200, I'm up another 100. It's like starts fluctuating. And I'm like around 800. And I'm like, all right, I got to stop. Like I'm way ahead, a couple more. And I freaking hit a number. And they were like, you need to call service. You need to be hand paid for this payout. And I looked up and I was like, holy shit, man. Like that's a good payout,
Wow.
So not leading on to anything. I'm not giving any numbers, but let's just say, it was enough that they had to give me a tax form and take my social security number. And the guy comes over and he's like, so are you like a players club? I'm like, nope. And he's like, well, you are now. And he hands me a player club card. And I was like, all right, awesome, man. This is sweet. Cause I'm thinking to myself, if I'm playing on this card and Dice Tower West is going to be here next year, I might not have to pay for my hotel rooms at that point. It makes it a better deal. So, so I was very happy with that. I was not thrilled about walking around with the money in my pocket until I got to a bank where I could deposit it. But
they cash you out.
They literally, they walk over.
When you say cash you out,
they cash you out right at the machine, right there.
No, thank you.
There's
Can I get a cashier's check, a money order? I'll take an EBT card. I'll just buy groceries.
unless you're winning like hundreds, 200, 3, a couple $100,000 or a couple million.
Yeah, then they, of course,
they are giving it to you in cash because they want you to turn around and gamble it again. Because
most people will.
Yep.
Yeah.
You would see me in the exposition hall, like buying every game I already own again, just because I could.
Yeah. Like anywhere in Vegas, anywhere there's a casino, you can't get to any like the convention center part of the casino is on the other side of the gaming area from the hotels. You always have to walk.
Gotta walk through it. Yeah.
It's a trap.
Yep. And then,
It is.
I do similar to you though, Mike. Is like I go and I don't do slots or I do machines. I do table games, but I'll be like, all right, $200 tonight or $300 or $400 tonight is my. And I put it down. I put it at chips, and every time I win a hand, I take my winnings and put it in my pocket. I put it in my pocket.
What I do.
When I lose that money, I go back and I always have more money in my pocket than I started gambling with. And I'm done.
Yeah, because we played craps for a little bit. My friend Ash, when he's like, we met another guy there that wanted to play craps, but he's never played before. I was like, oh, dude, that's come on, I'll as long as it's not busy, it's like the dealers will even teach you how to play the game because they want you to play.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like standing around the table and I'm explaining the game to him and I'm like, look, just stay away from the middle. Those are fool bets. This is all you got to worry about. Right. So he's like, all right, I'm ready to play. So we both walk up, $200. And even that, like I doubled my money. But as you were saying, like I explained to him, look at your money. We're way ahead right now. Take the money you put on the table, put it in a different slot in front of you. The rest is gravy. When you lose that, you walk away.
Yeah.
And all of us, we ended up walking away ahead. So
do you think it has something to do with us being board gamers? Like we play these resource management, management games.
I don't think craps does, right?
But what I'm saying is we understand risk, we understand reward, we look at the cost benefit analysis as we play games all day. I'll tell you, 99% of America doesn't do that kind of exercise on a regular basis.
Not when you're gambling. No.
I can look at my company of employees, and majority of them don't do exercises like that, where you're thinking about what's the end goal, what's the consequence of doing that.
Right?
Does that help? Do you think that helped?
Easily.
I don't know. I think it's my history of
strategy.
Just my grandmother was like a big gambler. She lived in Long Island. And she was like, literally, she would come home. I remember going up there visiting and having her walk in like in the morning, thinking that like, oh, she had woke up and went to go get breakfast and came back. No, she was coming back from gambling all night. And she would be in the gambling halls when they used to raid them because they were illegal. That was my grandmother. Yeah. Nice. And she was the one that taught me. Whenever you win your money that you put back on that you put on the table, you stick that in your pocket. That way, you'll always go home ahead, or at least breaking even.
Yeah, and actually, the same thing. My mom and dad taught me the same thing, right? So
yeah.
But I remember going to Gamma when it was in Vegas years ago, and it was like 6 or 7 of us from Tampa went, and we were at a Pai Gow table. We took the whole table. We sat there for like 6 hours. We all did the same thing. Everyone came out ahead. And then we got free food and like a free limo ride because we played for like 6 hours, right? But it's like that mentality of I'm not really here to win a ton of money. I'm here to be entertained. I'm here to be entertained, and if I spend this money, that's my entertainment. And then when I've spent it and I still have a bunch of money left over, then that's just gravy.
Yeah, you came out ahead.
Yep. Good attitude.
Jeeves. I'm kind of with Mr. Jeeves on this one in the comments. I don't like gambling. I'm terrible at it. So I just don't bother.
You can't get better if you don't do it. But I'm terrible. I'm never going to learn it.
When Rob and I worked together, they used to have these holiday parties, these Christmas parties, and they would have tables of blackjack and poker and roulette, like all these different table games, and they would do tickets. So you'd like get these tickets that you can then turn in for raffles for different prizes.
Sure.
That was the extent of my gambling experience. Was playing for
money
tickets.
Put in, you're good.
Yep.
I like
all included with the dinner.
I'll hit up the Pai Gow poker table. That's my game.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, let's get back to board gaming. Sorry, guys.
Let's keep. Okay, phone lines are still open. 813-618-7099 is the number. It is a call-in show. My man Wayne, you're talking about games that are your games this week in gaming. What do you got?
So when you dropped off earlier, I started talking with Mike to fill the spaces. I've been playing the Lost Ruins of Arnak campaign.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, got it. Loving it. Busted it out. Been playing it. I'm liking it. It's not super. It's not like Frosthaven, Gloomhaven, but there's a story. There's a narrative. You play a scenario, and there's like a main goal and like 3 sub goals, and as long as you complete the main goal, you can move on. If you don't complete the main goal, then either you can accept the loss and there's a consequence going into the next game, or you can kind of replay it, sort of like Pandemic Legacy. And then you can try to get the sub goals. So I played the first scenario, And for the first half of it, I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna, because like you can complete the main goal but not win the game on points, right? Like because there's like an AI that's getting points, and I'm like, man, this thing's racking up points. I'm like, I can't even. How am I going to do this? Because there's like these quest cards. And you want the quest cards because getting these little like encounter cards, get you bonuses at the end of the game, and so it's tough.
And if you don't get them in the game, then they're not there for the next quest, the next mission. So you can miss out on cards. I love that feeling.
Yeah, it's good, and it definitely is playable. You can replay it because there's different strategies, and obviously. But so I finished the first one, and I finished the main quest, and I got 2 of the 3 subquests. So I moved on to the second one, liking it. Same thing. Finished the main quest, got 2 or 3 of the other ones, but it's I can see where, and you can play it on varying difficulties. So you can ramp up the difficulty higher or lower based on the solo cards that you play with it. So it's good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm playing it solo right now. I'll probably maybe see if the wife wants to play it. As a
my wife and I really enjoyed it. We had a blast with it. What did you think of the setup? Because I know that it adds a lot to the setup. Like there's this lot of different cards that are different ways set up on the board. Did it take you a long time like it took me? Or?
No, not really. I think I did do the quintessential mistake is you have this stack of cards, and it's got like the campaign cards, and then it's got like the new unique items, whatever.
And shuffle them
no,
together?
I didn't shuffle them. I broke them out. I broke like here are all the campaign cards, and here's all the new artifacts and the new tools and whatever. And like they really shouldn't be separate. You should leave them in the order they are.
You ever played a Legacy game before?
Nah, I screwed up. I knew it. The moment I did it, I'm like, that was dumb.
But riffle shuffle them.
Didn't riffle shuffle it. No. But it was very easy. It's very easy to put right back away because it is very well laid out. I like it. And then, as Aaron Clark pointed out, there we go. Did anyone pre-order the Arnak Adventure Chest? Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. Wifey's like, she's dropping the kids off at school, and I'm like paying for this thing, and I didn't realize, which email I had set up. And all of a sudden it goes into like the family email, and she's like, "Hey, I got a pop-up that you bought the game." I'm like, yes." She goes, "I'll allow it."
Yeah.
She likes Arnak.
No, it looks really good. I mean, that adventure chest, now you see more of it. It comes with an expansion. It's got it's really just boom, makes setup faster and easier. I like Arnak, so
it's got black tiles now, so it's like almost like corruption from Lord of the Rings or Lords of Waterdeep.
Lords of Waterdeep, yeah. And what it is the more everyone uses it, everyone gets the negative.
Takes the penalty.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love that. Almost like the slavery deck in Endeavor. Right. It's one of those mechanisms. Like if we all use it too much, we're gonna pay.
Yeah.
Right. So oh man, it looks good. And then the research track adds a new a pip. So there's the magnifying glass and notebook.
On one of the new there's a 2 boards.
Yeah, one side of it. Yeah.
You can go into like hidden. Yeah, you can take your
secret passage
lantern.
Yeah, lantern, and go to secret passage, and then you get another piece.
Yeah, you go there with your magnifying glass, and then it gives you the lantern. Right. Yeah.
And I like
you can get these tiles that are like puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
Right. So then if you get 2 of those puzzle pieces, you put them together, and it makes a new place to put an idol on.
Yep.
So now you have like new places to set your idols into that can do cool actions without getting the negative points for placing idols under normal player board.
Yep.
This thing's looking all. CGE is just doing some really cool stuff right now.
It's cool. Yeah. And so I like the campaign. What's funny is there's the online campaign as well that you can play that I haven't played yet with Arnak. So I'll probably do the expansion one that I purchased, and then maybe go and do the online one as well to see if how it's different. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. That's really been my playing this week. I had a game weekend a couple weekends ago, but this week in gaming has been lots of Arnak. So
nice.
Aaron said something else there.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
I regretted a few big boxes, but that game needs it bad, and it actually isn't that big of a box. Yeah. And I heard somebody say something. Somebody was besmirching the game, and I'm trying to remember what channel it was. It might have been Liege of Gamers, and he was talking about, do we need another big box that ain't going to fit on the shelf anyway? And it's this one. It's funny because in the sales sheet that they have online, it's got it says designed for Swedish shelves, smiley face.
Oh yeah.
What's funny is the actual Arnak box though. I have everything in it so far. I probably could get this expansion, the missing expedition in the box, but it'd be really tight.
It is tight. I did it. It is tight.
It is tight. I mostly bought this because one, it's another expansion, and it's a setup solution. It makes it easier to set up. So
that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, if you see every piece, you just pull out all the vacuum form trays, and it goes right on the board, and you're done.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yep. This week in gaming.
There it is. I do have it all in the one box, but it was very, very tight.
Very tight. Here's the other This Week in Gaming.
Another big
baby.
box.
Yeah. Can't wait to get into that one.
Legacy.
It's a pretty big box, man. It's like
Pretty chunky.
Good size.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy too. Like
They were selling that game at Dice Tower West too with the expansions.
You haven't told anybody at home what
The
it is.
regular one. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Flashpoint, Fire Rescue, Legacy of Flame. So the expansion. I was trying to do an unboxing of it this week, but I didn't get a chance to. But next week when I get back from my trip, I'll do it. And then I did buy the reset pack too. So
Nice.
Nice.
So I can play it twice if I
Played a couple times. Yeah.
So that'd be fun. It's pretty heavy actually, so we'll see. I'm excited. I'll probably do a unboxing the end of next week and get it up on the page here. So
There you go, folks.
that's my This Week in Gaming.
All right, we got Wayne's This Week in Gaming. Rob, This Week in Gaming. Rob,
You gonna give me? All right. I'll make sure you get your stuff in there. But all right. We're not 10:30.
You better
yet,
let him go first then.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was gonna say. I start running on. You may not have time left.
Probably brief. He'll be brief.
You gonna cede the floor to me? All right.
that
All
was
right.
a lie.
No, I'll be short. I don't have any game acquisitions, so I just I was going to mention 3 games that I played at the game day this last Saturday. Yeah, I think it was last Saturday. And so 3 I played, and I kind of teased on the Discord that I was going to reveal what my favorite one was, and it may shock some people. But the 3 games, 3 big games I'll say that I played were Finspan. I finally got a chance to play that. Scholars of the South Tigris, I played for the first time, and First Rat. So we got a game of First Rat in. Taught, I think it was 1 or 2 people how to play that. Well, no, we didn't teach. A few people hadn't played it in a while, so we kind of retaught it real quick. But First Rat.
Scholars.
Scholars.
I want to hear about that one first.
Good. Scholars was so that's going to ruin the thing though. So all right. So
Okay, do your thing, and you had a thing.
Well,
You
the
had a
big
thing.
drum roll. No, it was
You can do
Finspan. Finspan was my favorite. So by far,
Nice.
of those games, I know Sam had put in a prediction that it was going to be Scholars. Scholars was good. None of us loved Scholars. We played a 3-player game of it, and we came away from it, and we were like, "Oh, okay, well, that was good." It is very complicated. Definitely more than Ezra and Nehemiah.
I think
Definitely.
they said it's one of the most complicated games they've ever done.
Yeah, you've got color stuff that you have to do. You have to mix colors to make other colors. To do the purple action, you have to do an orange action and whatever makes purple. But you have this the board has a whole color scheme, and you're like, all right, I got to play this color worker to change this die to this color, and then I got to combine it with a die of the other color so that I can do this action, and then I got to add all the numbers together, and I do the action at that power, and then that puts me halfway down that list over there. So that's the action I'm doing.
It sounds like work.
It was thinky. It was heavy, and it was thinky. So I think we looked it up afterwards, and it's like a 4-point something on the weight scale. It was heavy. So I like my heavy games, but I didn't like having to spend all that time thinking, all right, I got to play the blue worker with a white die to make that die. He paints that die blue, and then if I want to do the orange action, I've got to combine that with this color on the color wheel, and so I got to either play another die of that color, or I've got to play another worker of that color to color a different die. I mean, it's there's 6 different colors of dice.
I don't even know what I just heard for the last 30 seconds.
6 different colors of dice, 4 different colors of workers, and it was a lot. So I like all those games. The South Tigris games, what were the other, the North Seas games,
North Seas.
all those
games, basically.
I really like some Architects. I like some of those other games, but this one, I don't like you say, Mike. I had heard this was probably one of the most complicated, if not the most. I guess Inventors was the other one that I guess rivals this one a little bit as far as complexity, but it was up there. I like my heavy games, but this one seemed to be complicated just to be complicated, and I didn't feel like the payout on it was there. So I'll play it again.
I was going to say, would you play it again?
I would play it again just to see if I missed something or if I could do it better. Now that I understand how stuff works, it would be better. I finished second in that game, so it wasn't a problem of getting blown away and finishing last. But it just didn't. I don't know. Didn't hit. Didn't connect. So, but I'd play it again just to see how it would go. So. But Finspan, I guess, I played First Rat. We've talked about First Rat, and we'll get into more Finspan. We're going to do a beans on it, like Carlos said. Wayne's played it now, so we want to really dive into it. I want to play it a few more times. We played a 3-player game. Daryl taught it. He had played before. I had read through the rules, but Daryl taught it. It was me, Daryl, and then Cy. Cy was playing for the first time as well, and I liked it a lot. Again, I've got to play
You're
it some
a fish
more.
guy too.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I was going to say definitely the theme was on par for me. I like how quick the setup was. I like how quick the play was. We played it in less than 45 minutes, and 2 of us were learning it.
Wow.
I love. I can't say it enough, but I love the aquatic theme. I love the fish. I love the idea of the divers going down the list and triggering stuff as they go down. Having to make that decision to dive in the same column again, just because I need to lay a couple more eggs, but I don't get the bonus at the bottom because I've already dove in that column once. Just lots of little decisions, but it goes quick. I love the theme. I love the fish. I love the little. Yeah,
I had a feeling. Like as soon as you said these are the games you play, and Sam was like, "Oh, I know, Finspan."
You thought it was Finspan.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Finspan.
Yeah, so I'm famous for not liking my lighter games, but this is a step lighter, not a huge step, but a step lighter than Wingspan, and I like it a lot.
That's why I wasn't expecting that as much because I was expecting to have to put on the Robert T-shirt that says too light.
2 out of 10.
Too light.
No, but
What's funny is it's light, but it's fast, and just the setup. It takes it. I love Wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
But and I don't want to spoil for the beans, but it takes the clunkiness out of Wingspan.
That's the ticket.
Yeah,
yeah.
But we'll rehash.
We'll
that
save it for the beans.
Save it for the beans, but yeah,
for the big beans.
I think, and then Dan's got a copy, so hopefully maybe he'll get it played, and we'll have a 4-person beans of it.
Yeah, well, Mike, what's wrong with you? Get a copy of Wingspan or Wingspan. But I think
it's a copy, man.
I've
Wayne, you
played-
had your chance. You could have had one drop shipped to my house.
Yeah, there you go. I played all 3 of the spans now, just for anybody curious. I played Wormspan once. I played a ton of Wingspan, and I played Finspan once. And Finspan is already clearly the leader for me. So yeah, I'm happy with. Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong.
Okay.
I didn't want to jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, you know what? I like it. I think it could be better than Wingspan. I'm not ready until I play a few more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you can before we do the beans, play it solo.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try.
because it sets up so fast. And
Yeah.
I have not played it solo yet.
It's so snappy solo. It's
Well, you don't play solo games, Carlos. So.
Unless I do.
Unless he does.
I do want to get Wormspan played. Hopefully I can get played before we do the.
Yeah, I haven't played either one of those yet, which I need to get played.
Yeah.
Wormspan's definitely a little more
Heavier,
complicated. Yeah. But it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to play it like a week or so ago, and it fell through. But
That might be a good one to play before we do the Finspan review.
Yeah, Dan's got a copy at my
We
house.
can do
I got a copy. I have
SCU, Span Cinematic Universe beans.
rank them after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right, Rob, that's you.
me.
That's your
it. I
whole
didn't-
twig.
No acquisitions this last week, so that's it.
All right, I'm gonna start with I'll go acquisitions. Acquisitions wise, right off the bat, I'll start with a quick light one. This is a deck of cards.
I was wondering what that was. You've been playing with it over there. Yeah.
Yes, it is a deck of cards. This is a deck of cards called Axion Quest, and it comes with a series of decks of cards. This is a home, or not, I wouldn't call it home, an unofficial expansion that you can buy in Drive-Thru RPG for your Hero Quest game. What Axion Quest Infinite Dungeon does is it allows you to play Hero Quest solo or cooperative without having to use an app or someone playing Zargon.
I had a feeling this was Hero Quest.
Let's come back to Hero Quest.
We somehow always get back there, don't we? What's cool about it is you're going to pick a quest. You're going to place the dungeon cards, which are the blue cards that represent what you find in the rooms, and then you're going to start playing. And as you move your miniatures around the board and open doors to rooms, you will then flip the blue dungeon card. It's going to tell you what populates in the room. You'll flip furniture. You'll flip monsters. It tells you how to like set up the room. You'll have an overarching, I don't know how to say that, overarching.
Either way.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Storyline that you can do. You can even do full campaigns, and all of that done on this 77 deck of mini cards with the world's, Robert, look at that font. Tell me I'm wrong. That's got to be the world's tiniest font
Holy
you've
mackerel.
ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
Go Gadget
That's-
eye.
That's pretty tiny. Yeah, one eye that I got. I can't read
You
it.
caught me on that one, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's tiny. Oh, and especially.
Nothing gets past you, Rob.
Is this? Oh, it is different. There is bold on some of it, and the bold is a little easier to see, but the non-bold stuff, that's ridiculous.
Like you're gonna need a magnifying glass for this
Holy
one. That's the reason they did that is because the board for Hero Quest it's gonna allow you to put the cards on the board and not take up a lot of space. I can't say I'm like super excited about this one, but I'm like generally excited about this one. This makes it feel like the old school dungeon crawlers I used to play as a kid. Hero Warhammer Quest was one like that, where you'd flip the card, it would tell you what's in the room, who the baddies are, and you just kind of flip a card, kill stuff, take treasure, move on. That is Axion Quest Infinite Dungeon. You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG. Hopefully, if I say their names a few times, will they send me more stuff? Because they got a ton of other decks.
Keep saying it. Keep saying it.
Tag
obviously
him
that
when you post
going,
it.
Yeah.
Another. Let me write that down. What time was it? That was at 1 hour and 34 minutes.
There you
1
go.
hour, 34 minutes,
He's taking that
20
serious.
seconds. Let's see. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game. That was a haul. That was a purchase. We'll talk about the play in just a moment. And then my search for extraterrestrial intelligence led me to Armada Games, where my man Michael Fortino had a copy waiting for me of SETI. And in the last copy he had that also included the Pluto promo card.
Oh, nice.
So I also have the Pluto promo card, which apparently isn't a planet anymore. Like that's a thing.
Nope.
Pluto lost its status.
Yeah, it depends on when you ask.
So let's go into games played. I'll start with Guild of Merchant Explorers. So I got it played on BGA, and I can't remember. I think I mentioned in the show before. My wife keeps bugging me to play it,
It's good.
and I forgot that.
It's good.
I literally, truly forgot that. But then I saw it show up on BGA, and I'm like, you know what? Let's throw it on BGA. Let's try to learn the game again, and then we'll play it again. The BGA, the first run through BGA had me like, wow, I can't remember how to play this. I can't remember why. So I went and read the rules again, and I'm like, okay, I got to get this back to the table. So not only did we get, I think, 2 games on BGA and then some games on the table, this game is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good. Guild of Merchant Explorers, it kind of gives you that flip and fill feeling. You're building networks or like routes with these cubes that act as your merchants that are exploring from the center of the board, which is the city center. You're going to hit all these hexes to try to get to other cities. You're going to try to fill regions in order to place villages or outposts in those cities that are going to give you points. But not only that, at the end of each age, all of those cubes come off the board. So you only can start again at the major center of the board unless you put out those villages. So you're really almost like engine building, like you're expanding out farther and farther. It just hits.
This is what that's grown on you because you didn't love it at first. I remember I borrowed it from you, and you were like, "Oh, okay, we'll take it, mess around."
I
with
was
it,
almost
see
like
it."
saying,
Yeah,
keep it.
You're like, I was like, I don't love it. It's okay. And I was like, oh no, this. I brought it back to you. I was like, have you played some of the expansion stuff? This is good.
And I think the night you brought it back is
Yeah.
when we taught Melissa.
Maybe, yeah.
And that was when she said, I like this game. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
was
okay,
good.
I guess I can't get rid of it now.
It's good.
So I'm with you, Carlos. First time I played it, I was like, meh, it's okay. And then played it more and more, played it on BGA now, and I'm like, oh yeah, this actually is pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
I like how it's fast, it's snappy because everybody's taking the same action. You can see all of the actions on the tableau, the little board that they have, so you know the odds of what's coming up, so you can kind of plan ahead. Like, okay, I know I'm gonna get some desert spaces, so I can use these wilds to fill up these desert spaces, and when I get those 2, that fills the region, and I can drop a village. Right, it gives you the ability to plan, but then in between each age, you're going to be picking a card that creates that asymmetry. And every card in that 50-some-odd card deck is different. I don't know if y'all knew that. Every single card in the Investigate deck is different. So all of us are going to have different age abilities. You'll have 3 different age abilities. That all together, all that to me was like, okay, this is a good game.
Yeah.
The fiddliness, though, on paper, my fat
Fingers.
sausage fingers knocking cubes around.
Fire up that laser printer, man.
I don't know. I think what the answer is to blow up the map. Like they did a great job because you can keep a small footprint. It's on like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, right? Like an A4 sheet of paper. The hexes are too small. I think I'm going to go to Kinko's and see if I can blow it up to like an 11 by 17 where the hexes are a little bit bigger. And with the hexes being bigger, I doubt that I'll be hitting them. I told my wife I got tweezers for my my war games, like big forceps tweezers that I use for my war games.
And your toys.
For the chits. You know, like that the Banners game, right? You played that, Mike.
Yes.
It's all those chits.
I wouldn't say I
stacked
needed
up together.
tweezers. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going a little overboard.
It helps.
Yeah.
I almost busted out my
Maybe.
tweezers
He likes
for
his
Guild
toys. He likes
of
his
Merchant
toys.
Explorers.
Mhm.
Also got 7 games played.
Wow.
7 games played. Don't judge me yet.
Yeah.
Shelf of Shame.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Fellowship of the Rings. Trick
I got a
taking
copy
game.
of that. Yeah.
So it's equivalent to playing 7 games of the Crew. So that's why I say don't be like ooh and on. It's you're just playing it back to back
Well,
to
still
back.
7 games. Yeah, that's still a lot.
This
Is good.
this
good, huh?
this is good. This right here, I can't help it. I have to bring up the comparison of the Crew. So here's the Crew Space and the Crew Deep Sea, which is like Robert's thing, the ocean one. It's very much like the Crew. The biggest difference is it's Lord of the Rings. And other differences here, and hopefully when Rob gets some more games in, and we can give this to Beans. Why would you want this game, right? I'm trying to say that real quick. Why would you want this game over the Crew? Number one, the story element. The way they do the chapters here, it is the progressive chapters. So right, unlike the Mission Deep Sea, which is kind of random objectives, and unlike the Crest for Planet 9, this one follows the stories that you already know. You meet characters who come in their chapter, right? You're meeting them and playing them, and they each have their own goals. So everyone picks a player to play. You have an asymmetric player power.
And it's interesting that they have like a couple of characters that you have to pick, but the other ones, it doesn't matter if they're picked or not. They still kind of fit in with playing that round.
And it matters too because, so as an example, what Mike said there, Mary.
Pippin.
Is it Mary or one of the two wants to win the fewest number of tricks. And he's always an optional. I've seen. He's always been an optional character. So really you only want to pick that if you see that your hand is bad. Right, because it's an option, right? So the first player is going to be the one. Check this out. I love this. The player with the one ring is going to be the player that plays Frodo, right? Every time, and it's a suit of cards. They are ring cards. It's the number 1 of the ring suit, the one ring. Get it? See what they did there? So then that player gets Frodo automatically. Then you list everybody get their hand dealt to them, right? So you see your hand. And then they put out all the characters that have to be in the adventure and the optionals. And then going from left of Frodo, everyone's going to pick a character. So at this point, you're really looking at your hand, like which character matches my hand best. Yeah. Right? I love that. Like that asymmetric, what player am I going to play? For all those reasons, so far for me, better than the Crew. Yeah. And then other reasons to get this game. The Crew had a 2-player mode and no solo mode. The 2-player mode in the Crew to me was very random, less control. This one creates a 7 Wonders Duel-esque pyramid with cards that for the hand of the second player laid out. Some face up, some face down. As you reveal cards that are face down, you uncover them. Just like in 7 Wonders Duel, you're going to be able to reveal that card. So you can kind of see what strength that NPC player has. And the player who is playing Frodo controls that player. So it's going to move around depending on who gets the one ring that round. So that to me was very cool, very innovative. It felt like a much better system for playing a trick taker with 2 players. And then the solo game, it's a little bit more difficult, and it's done a great job of getting me through the story. That's where the majority of my gameplay has been just kind of, I want to see the story. Who am I going to meet next? When do I see Gandalf? Like that kind of a feel coming from Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
So your favorite new game?
Favorite, I'm going to say favorite new play.
Okay, cool.
Since I've been last on the show, favorite new play.
Nice.
I don't know. It's going to be on the board. It'll be on the board.
I was going to say, this sounds like it's hitting the board.
Get up on the board.
And then the next play is SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. I was super hyped. Stop. Rewind the car. Let's start over. I didn't want to buy this game. Like, it wasn't on my list. I think I mentioned that to you. Mike's the one that told me, Carlos,
so full
you're
of crap,
an idiot.
Man.
I didn't. Like, I love Terraforming
It doesn't
Mars.
seem like the kind of game. Well, never mind. Terraforming Mars fan. I say it doesn't seem the weight of it and the way I've heard it described. It doesn't seem like a game that's in your wheelhouse, but
it
maybe
didn't
not.
seem like it. Like it. They talked about point salad. They talked about my expectation was this will be another Arc Nova, another bloated game with 1,000 cards, and if you just flop the right card, you'll win the game. So it just wasn't on my list. But Wifey somehow, I don't know where it came in on her feed, and she was just saying, hey, I'd like to play that one day. I'd like to play that one day. And then I think I mentioned it, and Mike called me out. He said, if your wife is saying, I want to play a game, you need to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, I reached out to Michael Lorenzo at Armada Games.
Mike Fortino.
I'm sorry.
Fortino. That's
Michael Fortino at Armada Games in Temple Terrace, Florida, the little suburb of
Tampa.
Temple Terrace.
And that's your old stomping grounds, Mike.
It is. Yeah.
That's where he lived, right next to Temple Terrace Elementary or one of the schools.
Across the street.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he had a copy, and he said, it's the last one with the Pluto card. Do you want it? I said, please hold it. So Wifey and I went to dinner that night. We stopped by Armada. I picked it up. I pulled out the rule book, and oh, man, CGE. Like, I remember, I don't know if y'all remember talking about, hyping up how The Lost Ruins of Arnak was one of the best rule books I ever read. This rule book improved it. Like, this rule book was one of the smoothest reads. The more I read the rules, the more excited I got to play the game. The way they taught the game to you, the way they explained it, the giant 2-page spans of diagrams with kind of a narrative. CGE does this, like with Galaxy Trucker and stuff, these kind of narrative explanations of how an action works.
Some people don't like that, but yeah.
It worked for me because by the end of that rule book, I was like, all right, Melissa, I'm going to set it up and we're going to get it played. And we did. And I will say the first game took us about 3 hours. Mm-hmm. That's our only game so far. It took us about 3 hours for 2 players. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was like, okay, I don't know. I was expecting to love it. Love it. But man, it took a little while. And I think it's just because it's my first play. Right now, it's sitting at like an 8.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was kind of hyped thinking like 9, maybe 10 on first play.
Dude, an 8 is pretty
pretty
solid.
good.
No.
Rob's new 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
This game sucked. 8 out of 10.
The game has this like 2-part aspect to it, right? Where you're exploring space, you're getting data through signals using your antennas, your satellite dishes, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing all that, and then eventually aliens show up, and then it changes the game completely. I was having a blast just doing the first part of the game. Like, I'm launching probes. I'm feeling like SpaceX. And it was actually right during the SpaceX launch.
Oh,
so I got
blowing
SpaceX launching
the one that flew
They're
up.
blowing up.
No,
Yeah,
the last night one. The last night one.
Okay.
It made it. Thank God for those 2 folks that are still stuck up there.
That was pre-recorded.
It made it.
Yeah.
It's old footage, man, that they were showing you.
Makes you wonder, how did they get such nice footage of that rocket all the way up? Anyway, it's all a lie. So I was happy exploring the planets, landing landers, putting orbiters out into space. You're doing all these things, and then getting data to run your computers. I was happy building my engine, and then aliens showed up, and I was like, really? I don't want to deal with you right now.
Having fun with the other stuff. Go away.
Because what I had forgotten is as you score points, it triggers the non-player pieces that then start finding the aliens for you. So it almost like it will happen. So by the end of the game, you will have 2 alien species found, even if you don't want to. And I continued just playing the space game. Melissa started interacting with the alien first because she was the one that was there at the time of discovery. So they gave her bonuses. And it became, I'm not going to spoil stuff, but it became effectively a pick up and deliver game for that species. And she was having fun picking up species specimens and dropping them off at Earth and getting a bunch of points for that. And I was like, I want in on that. But it's like the last round. Too late. So at the end of the game, I had my capsule with a species in it, and I'm like on Mars, like nowhere near Earth. So, all that to say, it hits on all the because I was worried sci-fi. Like I was thinking this is gonna be a stupid sci-fi game. No, 90% of everything in here is actual true technology today or very near future.
Yeah.
It's that little last 10% that you get at the last quarter of the game that is the 2 alien species that adds that fictional piece. Highly recommend it. SETI, loved it. Can't wait to get a beans on this one and get more plays.
Yeah.
I'm curious
I gotta
about
get
3
played.
players.
Oh, I can't wait to play
I gotta
it.
get it played.
I played 4-player and it was good. Yeah.
2-player, because Rob, remember how you're from? Oh, what's cool is the planets orbit like they do in space.
Oh, yeah.
Like they actually orbit, right?
Board moves, yeah.
So your Earth sector is going to face a different star. So each turn you might be facing a different star. So you're trying to collect data from that star. When you collect enough data and you've marked it, it fills up and it resolves. And when it resolves, everybody gets cool stuff. Right. So what sucks at 2 players is there's only 5 rounds. We're only, taking a few actions each round to collect that data. So we weren't seeing the resolution of those sectors. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe at more player count.
Yeah, we were triggering it pretty regularly.
We'll be triggering the resolution of that, and that'll just
Yeah, we were racing to fill them up because you get the area majority as you fill those things up.
But not only do you that, you get the data, and the data goes where? On your computer. When you run your computer, you build your engine. When you build your engine, oh man,
it's good. I'm glad you liked it. Like I say, so all right. So just not to go too deep, because we're going to go deeper into it. But so let me just ask. So again, we had that discussion before, which I said I was surprised that this game is rocketing up the list because of the complexity. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I disagree with your statement.
Really?
I go back to brass on this one. I remember you still call me out for this on occasion when I said the rules of this aren't difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But it took us 3 hours. Why? Not because of the rules. It took me 3 hours because, what the heck am I going to do?
Yeah, there's a lot of directions.
I got $2 and an energy.
Yeah.
What can I do with this that's going to give me the best? And it really can stall out. So it's not for the reasons of the rules are complex. But you know what, though? I'm also a nerdy science guy. I love watching documentaries about this stuff. So it all kind of connected. Where my wife, she's not. She's not into the sci-fi. She's not into the space stuff. So she's like, well, what's going to be the difference between landing and orbiting? Why would I want to do one or the other? And I'm like, so a lot of to me, what became intuitive with the actions based on my, what do they call that? The
intuition.
No, the schema. That's the word. My wife's an educator. She's thrown that word at me before. Schema. My schema has a lot of this info. I've already had this information in my brain. It's just connecting the rules to that information I already have. Whereas someone who's not into this theme, their schema is not going to be the same. It's not going to connect as quick.
Well, so I guess my question, though, was why do you think it's rocketing up? For me, a game that was this complex, flying up, and then being a lot of people's game of the year last year and all that, it just kind of shocked me. It came out late in the year. It wasn't, maybe it was recency bias for some people. But I don't know. I can't explain why.
Not a single time that I have a negative feeling. I can't think of a time that I took an action. Brass has that sometimes. And there are other games where you take an action and you're like, that action sucked. To me, every card I played was cool.
Does something,
and did something cool.
Yeah.
Every action I took did something cool. And I think it's because of the way they set it up like Arnak, in the sense of you have a main action and then all these free actions that you can do as long as you have the resources for it. So I'm always doing cool stuff on my turn and trying to squeeze out as many actions as possible. So that's why.
Okay.
I think it's very few negative experiences, not a lot of interplay with us. And the interplay that we do have, Rob, is more cooperative than it is competitive.
Yeah.
Right? You want to scan the same system I'm scanning because you and I want it to resolve.
Fill it up.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're looking ahead, okay, I think Rob's going to be able to hit 61 virgins. That's a real sector.
Okay.
So Rob is tapping the 61 virgins. And I'm like, you know what? I want in on that too, because when that scores, I want to score with it.
Yeah.
So everything felt in traces of alien life. You're going to put in the traces of alien life out there, and Rob's going to grab a couple, and it needs one more to reveal the alien. So I want to contribute to that. I want to be there when the aliens are found.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All those reasons.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the top 100 strategy games. So it's number 70. It's already up to 124 all time overall ranking.
It's flying up the list. So
6 pounds of cardboard in here.
Oh yeah.
I was working.
We had to punch it with Alex's, and it was a lot.
Well, I told Melissa, I said, listen, I'm going to work today. Can you punch this?
Yeah.
Was it more than Mosaic Deluxe Edition?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if
It
I'd
was
say
pretty
that.
heavy with the cardboard.
Yeah,
too.
that was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot.
we got to find a time to play it then. I mean, Wayne, if you want to play it, I'm dying to play it again.
Yeah,
so
I'd love to play it,
yeah, we'll have to get a game, 3-4 player game.
But you got to
together.
expect it's going to, at 3 players, I think it's going to take us 3 hours or 3.5.
It took us 4 players with 3 people learning. It took us. It was
That seems
almost
to be
4
a
hours.
lot of the reviews that people are even people that are ranking it like a 9 out of 10. It's like, oh, it's a great game. It's It's pretty long.
But it's good long. Good long, like
Hey, now.
Terraforming Mars.
Hey,
Good long. Yeah, It's after 10. All right, 10:55. What else we got?
That was my twig. That was a
That
long
was your twig? No, that was a long twig.
Big twig. That was a branch.
Big twig. Yeah.
Oh man, I want to play this again.
We gonna hit geeky goodness tonight? We got time?
Yeah. We can all.
Sweet. I got.
I mean, even when we don't do it on air,
we
we
do it
always
off
end
air.
up doing
Yeah,
it
we do it
off air.
afterwards, so-
So
Yeah.
even if we
Right.
go
Might
past
as well keep
11,
it going a little bit. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh man,
There you go. Tune it up. There you go.
Yeah, you missed last week my agreement with you on the season of Reacher being just
Oh,
garbage.
terrible.
On the what?
Reacher
Reacher?
being terrible.
Oh, I haven't gone back to it since we discussed it last.
It's
The
not getting much
acting
better.
just gets worse, man.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, Reacher's pretty bad.
Mm.
I talked last week about 1920, whatever it is.
23.
1923.
23, whatever it is.
And it's already annoying me because it's like, are they going to spend the entire season on his son and future daughter-in-law finding their way to come back from England? It's like, ugh. Like
I'm even confused. Like, what are they doing? You know what it felt like? It felt like when was it William Grogan, the actor for Fallout, right? When his character said in Fallout, like it's all about the side quests or something. Like it's
Right.
the side quests that get you.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like this guy's on. Like just side quest after side quest after side
It's
quest.
so slow. Yeah, it's just it's like it's just running slow. It's still very good, but it is just taking its time, I think.
But it's also winter, so it's like episode 5 of Star Wars. It's like The Empire Strikes Back. You're starting on Hoth. It's all winter. Things are bad.
yeah,
That kind of a slowness to it.
slowness to it. Yeah. The Wheel of Time just came out. I haven't watched that yet. And
Oh, did that release?
Yeah, it just started. Yeah, I watched.
I heard it
for
was
a while.
coming,
First,
yeah.
first
That's
3
right.
episodes are out.
Yeah,
So I'm
just
behind
last
on
weekend.
Wheel of Time and Rings of Power. I gotta watch both of those. I don't know which one I'm gonna do next. And then I haven't yet gotten to Daredevil, but
Oh man,
is it good?
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm watching Invincible. I'm up to date on
Nice.
Invincible, which I love. That's a good cartoon. So
I got to
Yeah,
ask. So you mentioned Wheel of Time. Have any of y'all watched Shadow and Bone yet?
yeah, it was good. It was
Okay,
all right.
We're liking it. Me and my wife.
Yeah.
We last 2 nights we
I
watched
don't-
like 6 episodes. So
I think
yeah.
it got canceled though.
Did it?
Yeah,
It may
it's-
have,
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't
don't
think it's
I'm
coming
pretty
back,
sure. I
yeah.
don't. I don't. It
Okay.
doesn't really end on a good.
Good note. Doesn't
good
wrap
note.
things up. Okay. Well, we got
Let
two
me make sure I'm thinking of the right
seasons.
thing.
So yeah, it's good. It reminds us of Wheel of Time a lot.
Oh yeah. Okay, no. So yes, great show. It does end. It's canceled, but it
Okay.
ends on a. It's palatable. The ending is okay.
Oh, good.
It's good. Yeah,
Okay.
I really liked it. I actually need to go back and read the books.
Yeah, we're liking it a lot. Like I said, we've been binging it. We watched like I say 6 episodes in the last 2 nights. We're wrapping up season 1 and getting ready to go season 2. So I guess season 2 will be our final season. But yeah,
Yeah, Quasi reminds me of Scythe.
yeah, a little bit. Okay, yeah. Mhm.
The world of like just the look and feel of it. You
Yeah.
have this kind of like now Scythe doesn't really have magic, right? But like
Mhm.
just the Russians, the Tsar, the winter, the boats, and the technology kind of reminds me of the Scythe universe a bit. So
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's definitely got a mystical, magical side to it. And then I forget what they call it, the divide or something. There's this thing that split the country in half, and it's kind of a dark area that you've got to go through if you want to go from one side to the other. And so these 2 different. They used to be one big united area, but now they're kind of going in their different directions because they've been apart for so long. But there's the what do they call her, the sun summoner, and she's the chosen one or the prophesized one who's finally just shown up, and so we're liking it.
Is this
So,
the one that's based off of that book, the book series?
yeah, there's books. Yeah,
Whoa! What show is this now?
it's called Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Bone.
It's on Netflix.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's not the book I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Because I know I got to think of the book, but there's another book that has a similar story to it that I heard that they were doing a series on.
Yeah, it's
But
not a
anyway.
super unique thing, but we think they've done the show pretty well, and there's definitely a love story part of it, so the wife's definitely enjoying that part of it, but it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Rob's like, I'm gonna go get popcorn.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be
The
back.
kissy part I've gotten, it's TV 14, so it's completely safe. There's no language. There's very little violence in it. Really, they don't really show anything real super
Shadow
so far.
and Bone.
Yeah, super violent, but
It's a good,
it's good.
Netflix
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
I really like
my
it so
wife
far.
watched that one. Yeah,
Cool. But yeah, that's my new one. So I was excited because we watched something new. So
sweet.
yeah. What
Yeah.
else y'all got going on with the OGG?
I've been keeping up with. Well, I got home, so I caught up on Daredevil, caught up on Severance, which new episode is tonight. I haven't caught up on Paradise yet. I just haven't had time, but I'm definitely going to be going back to that. But as far as shows, while I was in Vegas, I had to kill some time Monday because my flight was super late, so I went and saw Captain America in the theater.
How was that?
I was one of 3 people in the theater.
Oh wow!
Really?
Which was great. I mean, it's fine with me. I mean, it was a matinee, so it's totally fine. I liked it. I would say it was, my brother was trying to tell me, he's like, man, he's like, if you think Black Adam was bad, wait till you see this one. And I was like, all right, well, I'll see. And yeah, my brother's way off on that one, man. There's no way this is. It's not nearly as. I would say it's a good movie with a couple of cringe moments in it. That's how I would explain it. But I liked it. It pretty much follows the comic books. As far as the Falcon becoming the new Captain America. I mean, maybe not so much. Red Hulk being introduced, but there were a couple of surprises in there. I was like, all right, it's pretty good.
I haven't been hearing much about it. I haven't been excited about seeing it because
it kind of died out, man. I don't know what. I mean, it's. I think it's a little bit more like not necessarily a filler because it is leading on to a few things. As far as the new Avengers, and I don't know. I think the MCU is kind of dying off here pretty quick, pretty rapidly. So you got to make way for that DC.
DC, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But yep. So that's all my. Oh, my son got me. My son has been back in the comic books recently, especially with DC Comics, because they started a whole new series called the Absolute series. So it's kind of like rebooting all of the main DC characters, and they're doing kind of coming out with them in batches. So like Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, I think, are like the main ones. And then the next batch that they're supposed to be coming out with, I think, are the Flash, Aquaman, and Shazam. But they like totally changed the stories. He just happened to get me this comic because he knows I'm a big fan of Superman. But supposedly the new Superman movie is going to be like this comic, one or the other. They both kind of like follow each other. The interesting one, though, that he was telling me about, because he was reading the Wonder Woman one, that she no longer comes from, like, she's no longer an Amazonian, like how she came from, like she was born out of hell, is like how the new series starts out, which sounded pretty interesting to me.
They've touched on that before, like that she's potentially like the daughter of Hades and.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and there have been some comics before that, and I think even the cartoon version suggested it once.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Maybe I was wrong, but I don't know. But I do remember reading somewhere that it was suggested.
Ah, very cool. Yeah. So that's my geeky goodness, I guess.
Very cool.
Other geeky goodness. For me, for my OGG, for my other geeky goodness, started off with a 4.5-hour film from 1993 called Gettysburg. I don't know what itch that like came from. I just wanted to see a Civil War movie.
4.5 hours? It was that long?
It was 4.5 hours.
I've seen it twice, but I can't. I remember it being 4.5 hours.
Justice League movie there.
Yeah,
it's a good movie though.
Yeah. I don't know if I was like looking up Sam Elliott or something, because I think we mentioned him recently. I think because I watched We Were Soldiers, which had Sam Elliott without the mustache. So it was like a different Sam Elliott.
No.
But Sam Elliott, Jeff Daniels, Martin Sheen, like it was a really good telling of the Gettysburg events. Like a lot of the events, like all the lead up, all like it. It was really good. Gettysburg, if you're into historical films, if you're into ACW, American Civil War, that is one I'll recommend.
Probably top 3 Civil War era shows for me.
Yes. Better than what's the Red Badge of Honor? The Morgan Freeman and
Courage.
Courage. That's what I'm
thinking. Yeah.
Or
I was saying Glory's number 1 for me.
Well, Glory's Glory was really good. Yeah, I like Glory.
And then did you ever watch the old school North and South? Patrick Swayze?
No, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah,
That was like a mini series,
It was
wasn't it?
It was a mini series on TV in the 80s, and it's
I
like,
remember when they did like the whole box set of that, and
yeah, it's very long. It's like, and it basically goes, it follows, it's like pre-Civil War all the way through after the Civil War, and is it Patrick Swayze's the Southern gentleman, and he's friends with a Northern guy. They both go to like West Point. They go to the Spanish-American War or whatever, and then I think Spanish-American War. Is that the one that's right before? Yeah.
Yeah, because they fought on the same sides, and next thing you know,
exactly. And then they become, and then it shows both the families, they know each other, and but then one's on the north, one's on the south, and it's a long document. It's probably like 20 hours of television or more.
It's going on the list.
North and south. That's an old.
That was a big event, man. I remember when that was when that came out.
And that came out on TV. Yeah, that was probably late 80s, maybe. I'm saying.
Probably.
We killed, thanks to Mike Lorenzo, we killed Scamanda. So we knocked out that one pretty quick.
What'd you think of that one, man?
That was interesting, man. Oh, man, some people.
People are freaking horrible in this world. Some people are just horrible.
But you know what's crazy about it is like, and then like this week, Casey Anthony comes out doing these like, parenting tip blogs now. Right? So like these psychopaths.
This is the world we live in now, man.
They can scam a whole church, and then the next week they're doing it again, like as if it never happened. And then it's, man, psychopaths are psychopaths. Comanda's a good one. It's a modern day telling of a lady who pretends to have cancer in order to get money and be a part of a big church, and like practically defrauds everyone.
Dude, and she like ruined that woman's family, and she basically stole the husband away, which, I mean, it takes two to tango, don't get me wrong. But then they wanted full custody of his daughter that he had with the first wife, and they were lying about her being on drugs and being crazy. And I mean, she's just narcissist to the nth degree, man.
With an enabling husband.
And
they really
one thing is
they
don't mention him the entire time, and there is no way she was doing all of this without that guy knowing. I mean, come on, man. Anyway,
Commanda, good series. What was that? Netflix, I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was Hulu.
Hulu, maybe.
Was it Hulu? Yeah, it was only like 4 episodes. I mean, real quick one to get through. But yeah, miserable person.
Just looked up North and South. It's 22 hours long.
Yeah, good call. 20 hours. Yeah.
I was upset, man.
Jesus, the list of people that were in this bit, like
Series,
miniseries. Yeah, Lloyd Bridges, Rip Torn, Johnny Cash, Jim Stewart, Hal Holbrook, David Carradine, Kyle Chandler, Patrick Swayze, Kirstie Alley.
Oh wow,
Jonathan Frakes,
Kirstie Alley. Wow,
David Ogden Steers. Yeah,
that gives away like when this was made, because like all those people were huge.
Olivia de Havilland, like she was ancient. I was like, Jesus, really? Robert Mitchum is in it. Elizabeth Taylor, Peter O'Toole, Gene Kelly. Like, that's a lot of people, man. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Last one I watched this last week was,
but it was good when I was a kid.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna put it on the series. I would think a Hornblower was one that I went through as a miniseries. The
Horatio Hornblower.
Yeah, that was another miniseries that I went through. So this one sounds similar to that vein, like older.
It's TV. It's long. Yeah.
The last one we watched this week was Forrest Gump. My 14-year-old now wanted to watch it, so we watched it together. I forgot how good that movie was.
It's a great movie, man.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, and there was
did you watch
so
it
much
through
stuff
Vid
I
Angel?
Yes.
God,
so
dang it, man! What?
It just cuts out a lot of the. There's a lot of N-words in there too. There's a lot of N-words in there. There's a lot of R-words.
But that was the time. I mean,
you know what? When he's 18, he can watch it again on his own.
All right.
But it didn't take away from the epic film that it was. It also, like, I think the thing that I walked away with the most was, what was it with the 90s and like CGI? Like, I feel like it's better than the CGI we have now.
Yeah, because it's not trying to be like perfect, right? It doesn't hit that uncanny valley.
Because I've never watched it on this big of a screen. Like, when I last watched it, we had like the 32-inch tube TV in the house. You know what I'm saying? That was the big TV everybody watched it on.
VHS tape or whatever.
Right. Now, like watching it in full, 4K glory on the big giant TV, and I could actually see, like, I can really see here that this is where they superimposed him into this historical event.
Right.
And it just, I'm like, it looks good. Like they did a good job. Like even Lieutenant Dan's legs.
Lieutenant Dan's when he lost his legs.
Right.
Yeah, man.
That was, I think, one of Tom Hanks's like best movies. Like the scene at the end.
I
when
cried like a baby, man. I was.
That is one of the movies that I will
tearing.
bawl my ass off. Is the scene
Yep.
where he goes to Jenny's and he's the
Telling
kid
her
and
about him.
She says like, "Oh, that's your kid," and like you could tell
I
he
cried.
says, "Is he smart?" And I'm like, "Oh God, that's." He's like, he knows. He's asking him. Like, that was rough. That's what.
Yeah.
The self-awareness that he had.
Yeah. Such
And
a-
then when he sets him onto the bus, that last scene, that was just he was, and that wasn't that the kid from like Sixth Sense or something? I'm
Haley
trying to
Joel
remember.
Osment. Haley
Oh,
Joel
yeah.
Osment. Yeah.
He was so tiny then. So much recommended if you haven't watched it in a while. It did not lose anything. It's a great film.
Nah, it's a
Forrest
good
Gump.
movie.
That's it. That's my OGG.
Sweet.
Nice.
That gets us to the end of the show.
Yeah. Made it. Do another one.
wanna
Next
go
week,
through the comments there,
out of
or-
town again. Oh yeah. Let's see
Comments
what's in
real
here.
quick. Yeah.
Let me turn
Real
off the
quick.
phones.
I think there were some. We were commenting there about big box.
Oh yeah, Everdell.
Aaron and
stuff.
Chris were going at it.
Okay, here we go. So we go back up.
All right, Wayne's got it.
Yeah, I got it. So you got it here. The first one was Aaron. I regretted a few big boxes, but the game needs it had. Talking about Arnak. Yeah. Then actually, Carlos, why don't you take over? I'll just click through them.
All right, Aaron Clark, 100%. I regretted. This is Chris talking to Aaron Clark. I regretted buying the Everdell big box, but not the Wingspan big box. I don't want any more big boxes. Crying face. It says Aaron Clark chimes back in. Yeah, the Vindication big box is probably my biggest regret, but maybe Wingspan too. Mostly just because they don't get played as much because they don't travel anymore.
That's his point. The travel, like Castles of Burgundy, Wingspan, Viticulture, big boxes. I have them, but I will only play them here because I'm not taking them
Yeah.
to many places yet.
And that's why I'm not too worried about the Arnak one because I think it's just making it taller.
Yeah.
Right? So not huge. It isn't going to be a cube-sized box like a Foundations. Chris says, I find the Wingspan big box helps me with setup and teardown. The Everdell big box makes this process longer. That's the key. I think for the Arnak, what their goal is to help you set up quicker.
Yep.
Anything that gives you a storage solution but not assist you in setup, to me, is
Oh,
useless.
so when you scrape it in the box, it organizes everything for you?
I'm a changed man, Robert.
okay.
I am redeemed.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I am my God is a God of redemption. I have been redeemed.
We'll find out like 5 years from now when he opens a box that hasn't played in 5
Listen,
years.
brother, look at this.
It was
I will
free-
prove it to you
free-
right here.
Let me look.
Free
Let's
Carlos.
see. Yeah.
Well, okay, wifey did a lot of this.
Oh, wow.
Every bag's
Oh,
got,
yeah,
got,
now the truth comes
labels
out.
on
It's the
it.
labeling. The labeling is what
Yeah.
got him. Once he saw the Dice Tower East where all the bags were labeled,
Labeled,
that
yeah.
converted him. I do
It's a
want to get a
thing.
label
It's
made.
a thing.
Okay, yeah.
Wingspan, Aaron Clark said is
Aaron
good.
Clark, yep. Wingspan big box is a good one. Wayne, you have that one, don't you?
I do have the Wingspan big box. Yeah, I don't
That's
know
the
if it makes it easier to set up though, but maybe I'm wrong.
And Mike Lorenzo chimes in that he got rid of his bird box and the Everdell box, but this is funny, kept the Vindication archive of the ancients, though. This is for the listeners at home that aren't reading. Chris chimes in, so I'm going to get rid of my Everdell big box and game after I receive the Everdell Silver Frost. I like what this version adds to the series, and even
Interesting.
the deluxe versions of Silver Frost is much smaller. And then this is where it gets fun for Mike's comment on Vindication, the big box.
No. This was on the
Everdell.
Everdell big box.
Everdell big box.
He kept the
Because
rule
it had
book.
the main rules and all the expansions in one book, and I ended up
Oh.
keeping it.
Keep that.
And and I do say later on, I like the person I sold it to. I made sure that they understood. Like,
I hope so.
Like I'm keeping
it.
the really good rule book. You get all the crappy one.
Right. I gave them all the other rule books, and they were fine with it.
Okay.
So, as long as
Was
they
there like a
understood.
discounted price at all
What do you mean?
for
Oh,
buying
no,
it
I
from
mean,
you?
I was giving them a discounted price anyway because I think there were some extras that came in the box that I wanted to keep. But I gave them the stickers, for the little critters and all the manuals. I just wanted rid of the freaking box, man. That thing was ridiculous.
Cool.
So I think that's
Carlos.
all
You were
that's
saying
out
next
there.
week you're out next week again.
I am. It is I
Spring
guess
break. Yeah.
Tampa Bay area spring break. We'll be in St. Augustine. So I,
will
don't
be.
know where you
I'll
guys
be
are doing.
around.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Mike,
can do another
I'll try and
comment
make it.
show.
Yeah,
You gonna be around, Mike?
non-calling.
Yeah, non-calling. We can actually do the BGA show. Maybe.
Yeah, we can do
talk ahead
BGA,
of
play
time.
games. Yeah,
We can,
I'm all
like,
for that.
Teach a game. We could do.
Cool.
if Mike's around, we can maybe teach of Clans of Caledonia or something.
Yeah, if Dan's back in town, we could. I'm sure he'll be on. We do a four player. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys for holding the fort down last week.
yeah, it's fun.
It's been a great show today. We talked top 20. We had a big twig. There was
Big
a
twig.
lot of this week in gaming
know.
today. With Mike's trip to Dice Tower West. I think Rob is going to Escape
Winter.
WinterCon.
Yep,
He's
this
going to
weekend.
make a visit over there this weekend.
Some of the folks in our group are already there. William went over this morning, I believe, or no, he's going tomorrow morning. He's leaving tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Jim's been there since Tuesday. So, yep, I'm going to go and me and my daughter are going to go over Saturday and Sunday and play games.
I hope Jim breaks out the new Witcher game. Did he bring that with him?
Did Jim get it?
I thought that was Jim that got it. Or
no,
am I?
it was somebody else posted up that they had gotten it. It wasn't Jim.
Oh, I thought it was Jim that got it. Yeah.
No.
All right. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I saw that on the Discord. But yeah, Jim's been there since Tuesday playing games. So we have slated a few that we're going to play. I don't remember off the top of my head what we had said. And then William's got a couple. We're going to try to play the Lord of the Rings card game again, the newer 4-player one. So I'm looking forward to playing that, and I'll report back next week on what we got played. So
Nice.
Cool.
All right, folks, don't forget the Discord. That's where you can find more of these Beans and Dice folks and communicating for local games in the Tampa Bay area, as well as online BGA games. You can email us at beansanddice@gmail.com with any comments, any questions, anything you want us to talk about. We'd be glad to hear from you there. Don't forget on the YouTube to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, make a comment in this episode. And if you really like what we do and you want to help out with Rob's gas money to get to Escape WinterCon and maybe some chili dogs
Cha-ching.
while he's out there for lunch, you can always throw some cash on the YouTube with the super chat. You can PayPal us at Beans and Dice. You can Venmo us at Beans and Dice, and you can Cash App us Beans and Dice. That's BEAN.
EANS.
That was easy for you to spell.
BEANSANDDICE for all of those. It's Beans and the AND Dice.
Got it.
We appreciate you watching. We appreciate the callers for calling in, and especially the commenters for keeping it lively. You're a great group of folks to be a part of in this gaming community.
He's Carlos. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Wayne.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.